in the 41st annual Harvest Bowl here at the Dome. November is a time that teams emerge as either the pretenders or the contenders. North Dakota State over the years has been very, very good in November, and it's catapulted them into the playoffs. So a big test here against Western Illinois, who's playing for their playoff lives today.
They certainly are. For Western coming into this game at 4-4, and for the Leathernecks to have any hope of reaching that next level, they have to do something in here that over the years, I guess they've been able to do, which is kind of strange when you talk about this series and these two teams.
North Dakota State, meanwhile, two big road wins, and they're big in the fact that they had to play with their backup quarterback on the road for 2 games, and he's performed very well.
He certainly has. What's interesting about the offense is I think in terms of total production and number of yards, the Bison have been about the same with Wentz and now with Easton Stick, but of course the way they're getting those yards, much different. The ground game on those 2 road wins has been fantastic, 640 yards rushing the last 2 weeks.
North Dakota State hoping they can continue that ground attack today against a very stout front on the defensive tackles. We have the national anthem coming up. We'll go to the field.
Oh, say, can you see?
Western Illinois. And LT, the one thing we talked about defensively with North Dakota State was improving their performance against the run, in particular against the quarterback run. Now, Western Illinois does not have a running quarterback as much as the last 2 guys they faced are. So what is going to be the key today in terms of stopping that big monster running back they have at Western Illinois, Nico Watson?
Nico is big, listed at 250, probably bigger than 250, and of course you can't take him down by yourself. But the one thing where he helps you a little bit, he doesn't have that great burst, that outstanding downfield speed. His longest run of the year is 39 yards, but you better get more than one guy there to bring the big man down.
Talking to the coaches as well, we said, how's your health? How's everybody doing? This is getting to the point in the season where guys are getting nicked up, and both defensive coordinator Matt Entz and Tim Polasek both said they're about as healthy as they have been so far this season. Beth Hool on the sidelines with us today has a PetroServe USA sideline report. Beth.
Hey guys, you know, King Frazier had a huge game last week. He had a career game on the road at Southern Illinois. He said he was challenged, and he said he felt that fire inside of him. Well, he needs to harness that again because the Bison are looking to name a #1 guy. Head coach Tim, or rather offensive coordinator, didn't mean to give him a promotion there, Tim Polasek, saying this week that they were careful about saying things like, I'm proud of you, too much, because they want to keep him challenged. They want to keep him hungry and driving for that. It's whether or not he's able to step up and do it a second week in a row that remains to be seen today.
Thank you so much, Beth. And it was good to see, I think, for North Dakota State, the positivity to see them pop the big run. We have not seen the explosive runs until last week.
Well, the Bison had 4 plays of 50 yards or longer last week, and a couple of those from Frazier in that running game. Of course, you need the blocking up front, which he got. But, yeah, you need to finish, and he finished into the end zone. And I think that's one of the things and one of the reasons what Beth was talking about that's kind of taking him to the top of the depth chart right now.
Another guy that has stepped up to the top of the depth chart at safety is Robbie Grimsley, the true freshman. Chris Porter has been moved to linebacker. Grimsley sounds like he's going to be playing close to 60 snaps at that safety position. A tough spot for a true freshman, but Grimsley has not really looked like the true freshman he did earlier in the year.
No, the biggest thing in terms of that is the communication. He's a part of that communication and making sure that he's on the same page with everyone. But Grimsley, you don't put a true freshman out there without the idea of A, that he can do the job, and then B, you got to let him do it. Grimsley's earned the position. He's in it. He is now the starter at safety, and it is his job.
We talked about Nick DeLuca a little bit earlier. 20 tackles last week, and it was kind of funny. We talked to Matt Entz, the defensive coordinator, and I said, well, if he would have kept his head up, he would have had 25 tackles instead of 20 in a joking manner.
Coaches are never happy, are they? 20 is great. 25 would have been better.
Because you didn't keep your head up.
Yeah.
So something to still teach the young junior that's certainly coming to his own. But he did say his linebackers, some of his defensive players, were a little bit more sore this week on Tuesday than normal. That was a physical football game, and it took its toll, I think, on the team last week.
That certainly did. Chase Morlock is a kid who probably, because he re-injured that ankle, won't be playing as much. He's obviously on the other side of the ball than with those linebackers. But, yeah, I like what Mark Ionati said after the people in Southern Illinois and talking to the papers. He said, hey, I've been hit a lot this year, but I am sore. I haven't been hit that hard.
So they're doing something right up there in North Dakota, because I was definitely hit harder in the postgame report. Ionati, one of the top players in the FCS in total yards from scrimmage, both offensively, throwing the ball and passing the ball. Time for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Luke Otto on for the kickoff duties for Western Illinois today. The Bison will try to get a return here as this one angled is towards the sideline and out of bounds, and North Dakota State will have great field position, and good job there by Darius Anderson not trying to field the punt as it was just a yard out of bounds.
Yeah, don't put yourself in a bad position. We've seen it before. In fact, the Indiana State game, the way that started for the Sycamores, when they stepped out of bounds at the 3, never got right after that.
So Easton Stick will make his first career start here at the Fargo Dome. Stick, as you see the Bison wearing the new Harvest Bowl helmets. Green matted finish with the Harvest leaf coming down the middle. A lot of folks making a big deal out of that this week, LT.
Well, they have never lost in the gold jerseys either, so we were joking with the coaches on the conference call on Thursday. Why are you even coaching this week? New helmet, gold jerseys? There's no way you can lose.
Bison 19-0 all time.
They didn't buy that argument.
And Dimitri Williams getting the start as he's in on the first play today, the true freshman from Rosemont. Bison going to look to run the football, and King Frazier running with purpose, spinning down at the 41, gain of 6.
Frazier excitement after that too. You see him bounce up. He's pumped up, and he got good work up front from that offensive line.
Here is a look at the NDSU offense. Starting lineup brought to you by Shields. The offensive line, maybe their best game as a unit last week. Stick in the backfield. King Frazier earning that #1 spot, as Beth had said. And, of course, the two receivers, Erzendowski and Zach Fra. Stick so far, 57% of his passes completed. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions through the air. Backside handoff. Darius Anderson through a hole inside Western Illinois territory, down to the 45. Just the 9th carry of the season for Anderson, the senior, transfer from Valley City State, originally from Hawaii.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. You mentioned weak side, but it wasn't weak after the Bison pulled a bunch of guys to get in front of him. That's one of the areas of attack they thought could work today on the ground. You got to remember, Western Illinois last year physically matched and at times exceeded NDSU in that game in Macomb. So the Bison obviously have made that a point of emphasis this week.
Aaron Diggs, Xavier Rowe, 2 defensive backs coming in on the tackle. Stick will run, following some blocks up the middle. Western Illinois stacking that one up. A late hit coming in there. The whistle had not blown yet. Football came out. Western Illinois saying they have it, but they do not play his whistle dead. Gain of 3. Shield starting lineup for that Western Illinois defense. Very stout up front. That's where they're strong. John LaChapelle, listed there, is actually out for the season. He is not playing today. Pete Swenson starting in his place. Chris Harley, Gavin Ricketts, 2 seniors. The secondary, very young. 2 sophomores and 2 freshmen starting at the safety and corner positions.
Safeties is a better position group than the corners have been. Corners have been an issue. Linebackers, both sophomores, both pretty good, but those 2 guys in the middle, the strength of the defense.
Stick will throw, has a receiver open downfield. It's caught! What a catch! Touchdown, North Dakota State, Zach Fra!
Oh, these kind of make you smile. He picked it off the back of the defender. Fra gets matched up on a linebacker, and a backup linebacker anyway.
What a spectacular catch. ESPN top 10, where are you? You got to find that one from number 82.
Like how you called him out on that, though. Yeah, you got to. Maybe we'll see that one later. That was pretty good. That was more than pretty good.
That was really good.
It was phenomenal.
Cam Peterson on for the extra point. The true freshman knocks it through. North Dakota State quickly, 2 minutes in to the football game, has grabbed a 7-0 lead here over Western Illinois.
Well, what was my prediction, Brian, when we were sitting around talking? That I think Stick's going to get one deep today. They did on the first drive with the help from Zach Fra, who has kind of, hasn't been in the passing game a whole lot. It's been Stick and his high school buddy Erzendowski really getting a lot of the connection through the air. But boy, when you throw it up and give Fra a chance to catch it, man, that was just gorgeous stuff.
Well, Easton Stick, Tim Polisic said, had a really good week. He's improved. He's learning from his mistakes, and that's the encouraging thing.
The other thing, too, we should say about that touchdown catch with Bra, he is now tied with Tim Strelo for most touchdown receptions all time here at NDSU.
Quite a feat. He's pretty much broken every other receiving record here. The 6th-year senior. Another look as Stick hung in there and delivered a nice football.
Oh, that's
awesome.
awesome.
Is that a catch? And then he kept his feet, and the defender couldn't believe it either.
He doesn't even know the ball's coming. He never turned his head around.
Lance Lenore Jr.
And draw.
Number 13.
Well, we've seen him make plays in the last 6 years on the ball through the air and make adjustments. But I don't know if he can get much better than that.
The march is on.
Ben LeCompte on for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. Lance Lenore back deep for Western Illinois.
Dangerous returner, number 7.
LeCompte will hang this one up. And taken by Stacy Smith, who fumbled the football in the end zone, and he will just take a knee, and Western Illinois will start off at their own 25.
First and 10, Western Illinois. Bison Nation, a reminder that your NDSU women's basketball.
The Leathernecks will run a no-huddle offense, not as quickly as Southern Illinois runs it, but they will go quick at times.
At times. It's more of a look type of a no-huddle. Oftentimes they'll set up, they'll survey the defense, then look the second time back over to get adjustments from the coaching staff, and then a clap. Norvell will use a clap as his snap call, so you'll see him clapping to snap the football. That's a little different. Teams in noisy environments do it different ways. He does it all the time, even at home.
Trenton Norvell, the starting quarterback, a transfer from Cincinnati, a 3-year starter. And flags come out, and I think someone jumped early there for the Leathernecks.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty.
That's the center.
Jacob Judd, sophomore from Clinton, Iowa.
Yeah, you saw the flinch there. Judd was trying to move off to his right.
So 1st and 15 from the 20. Inside handoff, and Brian Schatz just buried the big man, the big running back, Nico Watson, for a 4-yard loss.
Well, off the top, I said you would get with a big guy like Watson, you needed more than one guy. Well, not if you hit him like that. One guy's enough.
NDSU defense, starting lineup brought to you by Shields. Front four playing healthy once again. MJ Stump maybe played his best game last week. Nick DeLuca, we talked about him. And Robbie Grimsley in the starting lineup, the true freshman, Minnesota Mr. Football at safety. Norvell will flare it out. This one is caught. Stacy Smith gets some yardage back, maybe 4 yards. And 3rd and long coming up for the Leathernecks. We take a look at the Western Illinois offense. Shields starting lineup. We talked about Norvell. Nico Watson, as you see him there, a big running back, 250 pounds. They really like the receivers in Lenore and Borsellino, but the offensive line at times has struggled, especially in these types of situations. Norvell has time. Pressure comes. This one is out of bounds, incomplete. Borsellino, the intended target, and right there on the defense was C.J. Smith.
Yeah, Smith was in a better position to make a move on the ball than Borsellino, the receiver, was, because the pass was probably 2 steps behind him. The pass was short of the first down stick, so actually Borsellino was running far enough to try to get the first down, but the pass was behind him, even if he would have been able to make an adjustment and catch it.
So 3 and out for Western Illinois on their first possession, and North Dakota State should get pretty good field position here.
And punting sometimes has been an issue too with Western.
Eric Perkins calls for the fair catch at the 45-yard line, and North Dakota State leading 7-0. We'll have a short field to work with once again. North Dakota State leads at 7-0 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. You're watching Bison football in high definition on KBLY and the NBC North Dakota Sports Network. NDSU starting their second drive of the ball game, leading 7-0 as Easton Stick goes back to work, sets up the screen to Frazier, and that one is snuffed out. Nice job defensively by Gavin Ricketts for a loss of 3.
Well, you try to fool the defensive line, but not to make that play work. But Ricketts was on top of it right from the snap. His natural flow took him off to the left and right into that pass pattern. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Yeah, that's just good work by a veteran defensive tackle.
Ricketts, an interesting guy, born in Jamaica. His other favorite sports play, sand volleyball. Can you imagine seeing a 300-pound guy out there playing sand volleyball? Stretch play. Frazier, not much. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. So 3rd and long coming up for North Dakota State.
Well, this is the position that any offense is trying to avoid. That's the 3rd and long. But the nice play by Ricketts sets up this, and this is actually pretty good flow here by the Leathernecks.
Boy, Brett Taylor really does a nice job closing there, LT. Taylor, one of the top tacklers in the FCS, averaging 11 a game.
Yeah, they like him a lot. He's a hometown kid, too, from Macomb.
Flag comes out as one of the linebackers, Bischoff, looked like he was showing blitz, and I think North Dakota State jumped.
Offense, number 46.
That's Bonnet. So a 3rd and long, got 3rd and longer here.
But if you go back to that first drive and the touchdown pass, the long, deep pass, I think it's something that NDSU probably had to show. As we take a look at the movement, it came off to your right, that's Bonnet. But NDSU has to show something deep downfield just to try to keep that extra player out of the box, knowing that NDSU still wants to run the ball.
Stick will throw. Stick looking across the middle for Albers, who had it in his hands for a moment and then dropped it. And for good measure was hit hard by Miles Spearman. Will bring up a punting situation.
Boy, Stick tried to feather that into a very tight window, and he almost got it there. Defender using that right arm to make sure that he rips it out of there. Almost.
Pretty good coverage there by Adam Brott, the Will linebacker, as well. So Ben LeCompte on for his first punt. Nice high, deep punt, driving Lenore back to his own 6-yard line. And Lenore still on his feet, trying to make something out of nothing. He's able to gain about 10 up to the 18-yard line. Western Illinois trailing 7-0 with 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Will get the carry and push the pile ahead. He is stacked up after a gain of 2 up to the 20-yard line. Again, Brian Schatz in there along with Nick DeLuca, among others.
Western with plenty of read option looks, but most of the time it is not the quarterback going to run it. Keep in mind again, Norvell, unlike the last 2 weeks, it's not a quarterback who's going to pull it down and run it very often.
Norvell will drop it off. This is to the other running back. Western will use quite a few of them. Stacy Smith motion into the backfield, gains 2 more, and another 3rd and long coming up for Western Illinois.
Here, G. Tucker did a good job to shed the blocker off his legs, kept his knees clean, and was able to get past the block and then step up and keep that from being probably about another 5-yard gain.
Crowd turning it up a notch. Norvell, 4-man rush, fires in the flat, and this one is caught by Borsellino as he went up to get it. And he has a first down for Western Illinois, all the way to the 32-yard line. And yeah, he was hit hard on the play.
Yeah, Joey's still down. Borsellino, he ran just perfectly straight up. He's surveying down the field what kind of defense he's getting. It's a little bit of a zone, sets in between the 2 corners before Dempsey, the safety, can get there. He picks up the first down.
Jordan Champion and C.J. Smith were there for the stop. There's a look at Bob Nielsen.
Bob has pretty much won everywhere he's been. He's had teams 9 different times into the playoffs. Of course, he won the 2 national championships at Minnesota Duluth. So anyone from around here that follows the NSIC, they certainly know what Coach Nielsen's teams have been able to do in the past against the conference.
Maybe just the wind knocked out of Borsellino there as he is walking off a little bit gingerly.
But you mentioned, you know, Lenore and Borsellino. It's been those 2 guys. Those are the main 2 guys in the receiving department. I mean, Borsellino came in with 37 catches, and Lenore had 51 catches coming into the game.
McShane, the running back, will now motion out to the high side of the field, and Norvell in an empty set.
What that does, though, is it takes Smith and moves him off of Lenore.
And one of the offensive lineman moved as Norvell was barking out signals.
I think it was Zobrist who got called, but the offensive line was trying to go, hey, we were helped drawn off. Zobrist, the right tackle, 300-pounder. He's a junior.
So 1st and 15 now for Western Illinois. Bison showing some pressure here with G. Tucker. And instead, McShane will get the call. McShane, one of those change of pace backs, gets back to the original line of scrimmage up to the 33.
You may have saw a flag down there, but it was not thrown. It wasn't picked up from the play previous. So there is no foul on this play. It was there when the snap started.
McShane, by the way, just a junior, freshman, excuse me, 3.8 average yards per carry, but he's been getting more and more reps as the season goes along. Watson back out there. Norvell will throw, and this one's intercepted by G. Tucker. Pierre G. Tucker. Touchdown, North Dakota State.
Anytime a defender intercepts the ball and takes it the other way, it's a quarterback mistake, and this was definitely a mistake. He's trying to hit the slant. The slant was not there. G. Tucker jumps the route, and it's smooth sailing into the end zone. So now the defense with the score, and that is always a good sign if your defense can put points up.
First interception of the season, second of the career for Pierre G. Tucker, his first career touchdown. And what a change of momentum there, as Western Illinois had just picked up a first down. Peterson has the extra point, and the Bison score on defense and lead it 14-0 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard.
Seattle Tigers.
The Belleville, Illinois native, a homecoming of sorts last week at Southern Illinois, and now he has his first career touchdown here. And LT, break this play down for us a little bit.
Well, there on the bottom part of your screen, that's where G. Tucker is, number 47. As a quarterback, if you do not get the linebacker that's going to clear, we'll look at it later. Well, the linebacker doesn't clear the zone. If he doesn't clear the zone, you never throw the slant.
Smith, 2 yards deep, will take a knee, and Western will have it at the 25 once again, now trailing by 2 scores.
Well, remember, this is right about where we were in the game against USD, a 14-0 lead for the Bison, and then things just kind of went flat. That's not happening today, I just don't think. You can't have a repeat performance of that. The team knows it, and it's not happening. 26
home game winning streak snapped against South Dakota here 3 weeks ago. The Bison certainly doing everything they can to make sure that next winning streak at home gets started today. There's a look at Norvell.
The offense is just out of sync. Obviously, you can tell, not because he threw the interception. I go more back to the procedure penalties and the things like that. You can tell Leathernecks are not on the same page yet.
Play action. Norvell to Lenore. And Lenore
pulled it out.
Came back, fumbles lost, and North Dakota State has another turnover.
C.J. Smith yanks it out.
MJ Stubb falls on it. And that's something North Dakota State has not done particularly well this year, is force turnovers, and they have 2 now in the first 7 minutes.
Yeah, came into this game minus in the department. So a team with as many wins as the Bison have had, with a 6-2 record, a -4. Lenore split out in front of his bench, takes a little wide out cut. Now he's trying to dig in for that first down, and Smith yanks it out of there.
The senior C.J. Smith rips it out, and I think Bob Nielsen was hoping forward progress was stopped and the play was blown dead, but we did not hear a whistle.
Didn't look like it to me. It looked like Lenore was still trying to make a play to gain that extra yard.
So North Dakota State now set up on a short field, already leading 14-0. Back to the ground game. King Frazier still on his feet, following a Lucas Alberts block. He gets 4 yards to the 28.
12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. Sometimes you get both tight ends down, and that gap split is so wide that you help widen out the defensive line as well. The Bison think they can attack something a little bit more on the weak side. That was a play kind of designed to go back to the boundary.
Brought first in on the tackle, cleaned up there by Xavier Rowe. Williams is the motion man to the bottom of your screen. Stretch play. Bruce Anderson, his first carry, dragging Rowe across the 20-yard line. He's got a first down for the Bison.
Same pre-snap setup, look, totally different play. The stretch, you'll see the pull. The center, Kunert's one of the guys that gets out in front. Little cut block from him. Anderson, who's, you know, he had his banged up ribs. He feels healthy. Coach Polasek said he's ready to go, and he certainly ran very hard to finish that play to get the first down.
Anderson playing so much and so often, we forget he's a true freshman. And most of these true freshmen, their seasons are now usually over. So for them playing here throughout November and December's going to test them certainly in the physicality department. Stick will keep it this time. Stick across the middle, short out to wide open receiver. That was Andrew Bonnet at the 10, will bring up second down.
Yeah, the naked bootleg is certainly something that Coach Polasek and Coach Hedberg said was in the game plan today. It was set up. He had plenty of time. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Naked means you don't have a lead blocker in front of you. We obviously know Stick can run, so they're not too worried about having to protect him out on the edge. Pass just was too short and too much behind Bonnet.
You can see Western Illinois, the way everybody went to that side of the field as they tried to stop run. As North Dakota State is in the Superior Inc. red zone, and boy, they've done a nice job in the red zone this year. 73% of the time they get in there, they score touchdowns. Stick will throw high across the middle, and again, this one a little bit overthrown.
Intended for Albers. He had two people running. Bra was the other one. Both of them were wide open. He just missed Albers. The pass was sailed too high, but Bra on the left side was right up the hash marks, off the play fake, the zip. Just too high. Nice little pop there, though, from Taylor. Taylor got a pretty good lick on him, as we see Coach Wentz right now. Unfortunately, he's not out there able to play.
Carson licking his chops as he saw that overthrow, as he thinking, I could have hit that guy in the backfield, as North Dakota State sets up here on 3rd and 10. Stick will run it. Stick gains 5 up to the 15. Nice tackle on the play. Back up defensive lineman Keelan Saunders made the stick for the stop, and that will bring up a field goal situation.
Saunders and Taylor. Actually, I thought initially, Brian, they were able to get that first down, but couldn't quite get to it.
This game brought to you in high definition by Parents Lead. Have conversations with your children that matter. Log on to parentslead.org for more information.
That's because Stick wasn't hit until he got that 5 yards ahead. I thought if he could make one move, he might have been able to get to it.
Peterson from 32 missed both attempts last week. This one is up, and this one is good. Cam Peterson tacks on to the lead. 32-yard field goal, and North Dakota State leads at 17-0 with 5:26 to go in the first quarter. Dan Tall.
Yeah, it's going Smith's way again. He'll return this, though.
At his own goal line. Hit initially, still on his feet, and then wrapped up by Chris Board at the 22.
DeLuca was the man who came flying in there trying to make the hero tackle back around the 10, but couldn't get in front of him quite enough.
You talked about Western Illinois, LT, not really getting in sync. You get a feeling they just need to get a couple of throws or a couple of runs and a couple of first downs just to get moving a little bit.
Well, if they're not going to get more than 3 yards running the big man, that's an issue, I think, for the Leathernecks.
And Watson, again, missed the first 2 games of the season. When he came back, gangbusters, but the last 2 weeks, it's been tough sledding for number 41.
There he is. He's not getting anything there.
Gang tackled right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. Aaron Steidel in there. Stanley Jones as well, the freshman from Bismarck. And Caleb Butler also in on this series for North Dakota State.
Well, you just mentioned 3 defensive linemen, so what does that mean? That means the offensive line didn't come close to doing its job. They didn't move anybody on this play. Stumthwaite makes a pretty good initial stop, and then the Bison are there to make the gang tackle.
Again, it's Watson. Bison plugging it up again. Gain of 1. 3rd and 8 coming up.
But the strength of the offensive line for the Leathernecks, too, has been the inside as well. The guard and 2 centers have been the best run blockers. A little bit more of an issue at the tackle positions. 3rd and long. Well, if you got your hand in the dirt, you're wetting your chops on this one.
Bison bring extra attackers. Norvell's going to throw it up. Has a man deep. Stacy Smith, incomplete.
Boy, Leathernecks got what they wanted, one-on-one against your freshman safety. Lenore runs a short little out, so that takes Smith out of the play. There you saw the 2 blitzers up the seam. You beat the safety deep, and then you can't drop it in there. If you're on the road, those are the passes that you have to connect, and you have to take advantage of it. And now you're punting the ball away again, down by 17 points.
So North Dakota State will get the ball back here once again. And again, we're only through 11 minutes in this football game. Western Illinois, 2 punts, 2 turnovers. Perkins at the 25. Trying to jitterbug around a few guys and got a couple of yards up to the 29. Let's take a look at our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. What percentage of the North Dakota population is employed by agriculture? That's a fitting question for the Harvest Bowl.
Exactly. What is not as much as 50 years ago? I tell you, farming as it exists now is so different. It's foreign to anything. I grew up on a farm, and it's nothing at all now. It's so much bigger.
What I'm impressed with, LT, is you didn't answer the question with another question, which is what you usually do. You usually want more details.
Well, this is, in terms of the Leathernecks, the best position they've put the Bison in so far to start a drive.
Hand off again. Not much this time, although pretty good second effort there by Frazier as he runs hard up to the 31, but the Leathernecks turn him back. One of those guys in on the stop, backup defensive back Louis Sharp.
I think we're seeing here out of Frazier a little bit of that. He seems like he's got an extra watt at the end of these particular runs. This doesn't gain much yardage on the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, but he's not giving up on it. The Bison coaches and the Bison teammates have been working on basically his psyche, you know, to convince him that you're the man, you're the #1 guy, go prove it.
Aaron Diggs also in on that tackle as he stood him up. Stick will take off, and he's got room to the outside. You see the wheels of Easton Stick in his nimble feet, and he almost broke another big one, but he does have enough for a first down up to the 46.
Now, perfect read on the read option. This is the type of offense that Stick ran in high school. You see him put it in the belly. You look at the end spills down. You run it to the wide side, and if he's not tripped up, he's gaining about another 20 yards.
Yeah, David Griffith, the touchdown-saving tackle perhaps there on Stick, who's been over 100 yards in each of his first 2 starts. This one is handed off to Chase Morlock. Chase nursing an ankle, doesn't gain 2 up to the 48. And again, Brett Taylor in on another tackle along with Griffith and Adam Broad.
The thing that Morlock just can't quite do is make that extra move. You know, he still runs straight and runs hard, but...
Answer to your North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question: what percentage of the North Dakota population is employed by agriculture? I think it's bigger than that. 24.
Okay.
Give or take 6%. We'll give you the...
Oh, I'm within the margin of error?
You're within the margin of error. 2nd and 8 coming up from the 48.
So nice of you to try to make me feel good.
Stick will keep it again and roll. Fires on the run. Caught. Erzendowski stayed in bounds. Lunges ahead to the 38. On the coverage, Timothy Smith for Western Illinois, but that's another first down for North Dakota State.
Well, I thought his foot went out of bounds right at the 41, but we'll see here. You fake it. You gave it to Morlock the last time. It's a boot. Got Bonnet with a little bit of a help. And there's his right foot that I thought stepped out, so the Bison will get 3 extra yards on this play.
You talked about the half-field reads. They're trying to keep this simple for Easton Stick, aren't they, LT?
Yep, Stick, once he makes his initial move, you're not supposed to look at the other side. Don't tempt yourself. If it's not there, run it.
Jack Planker's jumping early there, and that'll cost North Dakota State 5 yards.
So we got an opportunity here to talk maybe a little bit more about Stick and in the passing game.
False start, offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, first down.
What the Bison are trying to do with Stick in the passing game is he's been a little bit late with his feet, and he's been just a little bit late with his eyes. You have to remember that you had Carson Wentz, who read everything fast, quick, and had a cannon for an arm. So the passing game is geared still toward the way that Wentz did it. So they have to get Stick speeded up a little bit, and he went against the first team defense in practice this week just to try to get his reads a little bit quicker.
Looks like the same kind of play as Bruce Anderson. A big burst up the middle, cut down by Timothy Smith, but he's got 9 yards up to the 35.
Planker's making up for that. Look, check number 70. You'll see him bury a linebacker. He's being held. He has some help, but that's pretty good work inside.
Smith has an older brother actually on the team. The man that made the tackle there for Western Illinois has another brother playing college basketball at a smaller school. That's Frazier hopping through the hole, and King Frazier is running determined today, carrying tacklers all the way to the 21.
Well, you may notice that how there's a tilt nose. The Leathernecks play it similar to what the Bison do, tilt nose. Well, that helps you dictate which way you're going to block it. So that nose kind of blows out through the A gap. The A gap right behind him is open. Lead through it. Another first down.
Not this time as Western Illinois stacks him up. Nice job by J.J. Veloz, who got in there along with Riggs Baxter. And Veloz, a guy we really should talk about, LT, actually made a bone marrow donation a month ago. A young child was diagnosed with an issue, number 93, see him running off there, Veloz, and found a match.
And he helped spearhead kind of that movement, not only within the team, but kind of within the town of Macomb, too. And he said, yeah, pick me.
Andy Issue back in the Superior Inc. red zone once again. 2nd and 9 when we come back. We're through 1 at the Fargo Dome, and the home team has taken control, leading 17-0. New seed fan cam. Interesting selection. There's one of the younger fans. Another younger fan is missing some of that game. And of course, our favorite disco-wearing, Bison hat-wearing fan. He always gets in at least once a game.
Dunn in at tailback right now.
Lance Dunn did fumble last week against Southern Illinois. Played sparingly after that. Bootleg here.
Wide open, Urzendowski.
RJ got it! Touchdown, Bison!
Boy, the safeties, neither safety went to the deep middle, and Urzendowski just waltzed right between them, split it wide open. That was about as easy as it can get for quarterback and receiver.
Boy, North Dakota State has had total control of this football game from the kickoff. They have outgained Western now 155-31 in total yardage, and we are only 15:06 into this game. The home team controlling things, up 24-0 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. As Stick finds Urzendowski, his former high school teammate, for 6. Boy, 155-32. It's time for another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Peterson Farm Seed proudly brings you the Bison kickoff as well as a product lineup. We'll give you every reason to stand tall. LeCompte will angle this one towards Lenore, and Lenore will also take a knee. And the Leathernecks again will start at their own 25-yard line.
Boy, Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Stick probably still, even though this ends up with the ultimate 6 points, I think the coaches may say you still need to pull the trigger a little bit quicker. But the safeties were so wide, he could still get it in there.
8 plays, 71 yards, and 4 minutes and 9 seconds. And the Bison are clicking at all cylinders here in the first half. Trent Norvell not clicking as much.
No,
4 of 7, 25 yards and an interception today.
Well, one of those completions ended up in a fumble, ended up in a turnover.
3 receivers bunched to the bottom of your screen. Norvell will throw it there. Smith is going to throw it deep for Borsellino, and he out threw him by about 5 yards. Incomplete. Beth Houle on the sidelines for us today as a PetroServe USA sideline report. Beth.
Hey guys, you know Easton Stick wasn't the only mixed changeup 2 weeks ago. Coach Kleiman and Coach Ince making the decision to move Jamar Kane, the defensive ends coach, down to the sideline with hopes of bringing a little bit of his passion with so many young guys stepping in that defensive ends group.
All right, thank you, Beth. So yeah, one of those changes, of course, Kane in his second year after serving as the defensive coordinator at Wyoming. Norvell under pressure, now is going to throw it out of bounds. 3rd and long again coming up as the Bison stayed in their lanes and the pressure was applied by Stanley Jones.
Well, I thought Western had a pretty good pass combination in terms of routes out there. There's an X on the near side, a deep cross, a short curl, and then a deep out, and nothing was open on that play. So obviously the Bison's defense did a really good job. The most impressive part of that was the linebacker stump that was on the deep cross. That wasn't there.
Ambrosius on the pressure there, not Stanley Jones, as Norvell under pressure again. Going to throw in the flat, and this one is caught by Lenore. He slipped to tackle and got a first down for Western Illinois, and that was much needed for the Leathernecks.
One of the interesting things the Bison coaches came up with it over the course of the last 4 games, Lenore has played on his team's sideline 95% of the snaps. There you see the catch on the ISO. Smith misses the tackle, and you pick up and make that, and you make the first down. But that's why C.J. Smith is on that side, because Lenore always is.
And there is a run. Very rarely do we see Norvell take off with it. That was a quarterback power gain, 2 yards. Yeah, Bison defended pretty well.
Yeah, that was a design run, no option, nothing on that. Just give the Bison defense something a little bit different to look at. Because earlier this season, quarterback run has been an issue at times for NDSU.
Well, Brian Schatz is wreaking a lot of havoc in the middle for North Dakota State. Norvell to throw, hit, and this one sails high, wide, and out of bounds. The intended target, Jalen Ackland.
Well, one of the reasons that was maybe high and wide, this champion was on a man-to-man, but both, again, the blitz, the tackle and the end went on an inside rush. You brought a double blitz from the outside. Norvell had to get rid of it a little bit quicker than he wanted to, and it sailed on him. Bison really bringing the pressure.
NDSU going to try to get off the field here as Western Illinois just converted a big 3rd down a moment ago. Bison showing some pressure.
Here's what you call that look. Initial look to the sideline, get the play, make your checks deep into the play clock.
Norvell gets it off. Under pressure, hit, ball is loose.
That's a fumble, but Leathernecks got it back.
And boy, the pocket just collapsed there on Norvell as he tried to escape and was hit. Ball recovered by Western Illinois. Still a punting situation.
Coach Ince is dialing it up. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Right now is when the quarterback wants it out. Then he was hit on the backside. I think that was Butler, wasn't it? Hanging on him, and then the ball came out, and the Leathernecks covered it up.
Caleb Butler, a young man that really did not see a lot of action early in the season, but the last couple of games, LT, getting more and more reps. Another punting situation. Whoa, this is a shame.
This has been part of the issue on the punt game.
And Perkins will let it bounce, and Western does get a good bounce as it will trickle inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line before it is down. North Dakota State will be backed up as the Leathernecks get a bit of a break, but it's still 24-0 as we head to break. And the new helmet's working out pretty well so far here at the Fargo Dome. Brought to you in high definition by Speaks Volumes. Remembering that one drink isn't always just one drink. Log on to speakvolumes.nd.gov for more information. Bison offense back on the field with a 24-0 lead. Jet sweep goes to Darius Shepard. The redshirt freshman took a pretty good pop on the play from Aaron Diggs and Xavier Rowe, both in on that stop.
Yeah, Diggs has no problem coming down from his safety position and getting the tackle. That's you look at Rowe. He's the corner. Diggs, number 5, is the safety. And the stuff we watched on tape, I really like the way that Diggs played. He's a sophomore, has a couple of interceptions, had a 95-yard interception return against UNI earlier this year, but I like the way he looks.
His aunt actually played in the WNBA. Pretty good bloodlines. His dad played Major League Baseball with the Cardinals and Brewers. Frazier getting the call. This time squeaks through a hole. Open field tackle on the play by Adam Brott, but not until King picks up close to 6.
Well, Brott makes the tackle, but the thing I like about this, and you'll see on the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, there's first contact, and there's about 7 more yards. So yards after contact. Frazier, pretty big kid. We've seen him run hard today. Weighs about 215 pounds. He's just had a little extra emphasis on the back end of the runs today, don't you think?
I feel like he's run really hard the last 2 weeks. He popped those couple last week, LT, and it just seems to carry over here today.
A lot of pre-snap movement, a lot of motion today, but not quite the right look that NDSU wanted.
Chris Kleiman will use his first timeout on this 3rd and 2 coming up, a manageable situation for the Bison.
You know, for Western right now, Western kind of looks like a team on both sides of the ball that just can't wait to get to halftime and start to make some adjustments. Then all of a sudden you look up at the clock and you go, oh my goodness, we still have 11 minutes before we can get into the locker room.
Well, it just feels like, you know, even when they were down 7-0, maybe still in it, but that pick 6 really seemed to change everything for body language and everything else. Stay tuned at the half. Your first half stats report brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers.
Also at halftime too, Beth had an opportunity to talk with Carson Wentz, and we'll have that as well, because Wentz got a real nice invitation in the mail this week. He obviously can't play now, but he's got some football in his future, and he'll have an opportunity to play in front of the pro scouts, and that's what Beth was talking with Carson Wentz, or Coach Wentz as I've been calling him lately. He just smiled when I called him that earlier this morning.
And Carson with the headset and street clothes, still trying to stay involved, and certainly has helped Easton Stick in his first couple of starts at quarterback. Anderson will motion into the backfield. Stick will run. Stick needed to get to the 35, and I think that's where he got. Should have enough for a first down.
One more point with Wentz. You know, he broke his wrist, obviously, which is not a good thing as we watch the replay and we see Stick get the 2 yards that he needed. But the thing that, since it's his wrist, that allows Carson to do, that's to obviously stay, you know, active and in shape with his feet. He's still able to do all of the things that he needs to do technique-wise with his feet to be ready when his next chance is, whether it's for NDSU or for the pro scouts someday.
5 receivers, empty backfield here on this set for North Dakota State.
It's been a good quarterback run set.
Stick will throw. Open receiver is Shepard downfield. And Shepard is off to the races. Down to the 22-yard line. And another bomb as a flag comes in.
Well, you got Shepard ISO'd up on a one-on-one on the strong safety who tried to jam him. Nice little move at the line of scrimmage, and a fairly easy throw deep down.
2 flags actually on the field. One all the way back at the 27-yard line, and then another at the 25.
Number 10 was covered.
Okay.
The first down.
Well, the ineligible receiver, that was Lance Dunn. So somebody needed to be off the line of scrimmage, and they weren't. I still didn't pick up what the one down here was, but they were both against the Bison anyway, I think.
May have been a sideline warning.
With the penalty, makes it 1st and 15.
Well,
North Dakota State was flagged for that last week.
In Carbondale, you got them both, the warning and the flag.
So that negates a nice gain for Darius Shepard, and the Bison backed up now, 1st and 15 from the 20.
It negates one of Stick's best passes that we've seen him throw this year.
Stick back to the air in the flat. Ooh, that was a dangerous pass. Shepard makes the catch, gains about 8 up to the 28.
Well, the reason it was dangerous is because the man running the fly pattern didn't take the guy with him. There was a read on that far side. I think that read was made by Timothy Smith. Smith is off the receiver, breaks on the ball, and almost has the pick six. Hey, why not? You're down by 24 points. It's time to gamble if you're this Leatherneck defense, and he gambled, almost made it work.
There's a look at Shepard, having a great redshirt freshman year out of Blue Springs, Missouri. Back to the ground game here as Frazier hops a couple of tacklers up to the 30 before he is stacked up. Again, Taylor at the bottom of that pile.
NDSU's been able to clear some space at times inside in the interior, but certainly not on that play. Harley, one of the athletes, number 92, 290-pound senior that was not moved.
Harley, the transfer from Virginia Tech. And again, they got seniors across the board on that defensive front.
Harley had a real good game last week. He had 8 tackles in that game last week.
A 2-point loss at home to Youngstown State. Stick will throw to Zach Vra, who broke off his route, and this one sails out of bounds. And a misread there from somebody, and that will bring up a punting situation.
Pass actually looked like it might have sailed a little too deep anyway, but it was pretty obvious that quarterback and receiver were not looking and interpreting the same thing at the same time. Vra broke it off, thought he had a soft spot in that gap.
Compt will angle this one towards the sideline, and it will take a hop at the 18 and bounce out of bounds at the 14. Boy, Ben LeCompte does that as well as anybody in the country. He is leading the FCS in punting for a reason at 46.5 yards per punt.
Kicking it away from Lenore as well.
Bison lead at 24-0 on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. North Dakota State came out fired up. Got the touchdown catch from Vra, spectacular catch. G. Tucker with a pick six. Turnover by C.J. Smith. Urzendowski with another touchdown catch. And the Bison have racked up 175 yards here in the first half and lead at 24-0.
To only 42 yards for the Leathernecks.
Jet sweep to McShane. Boy, that thing is strung out by the Bison. A number of players in on the stop, including Grant Morgan. Loss of 2.
Well, at first look, I didn't know if Morgan got his hand high enough to get a little bit of that face mask, but he obviously didn't.
Greg Menard played 50 snaps last week despite playing with an injured groin. Much healthier this week as Norvell has time, drops it off to McShane. MJ Stump comes from the backside to make a stop after a gain of 6.
Pretty well executed play, I thought, by the Leathernecks that time. NDSU doing a lot of things up front with a lot of crosses in terms of the tight end and the tackle. Stump, as you mentioned, Brian, had to come from behind. He stayed until he saw where the pass was completed, didn't want to vacate his zone, and then caught up to the play to make it third and fairly long.
3rd and 6 at the 19. Norvell looking deep. He has a receiver, but again, overthrows Stacy Smith, the Bison, with Jordan Champion and Robbie Grimsley back there in coverage, and another punting situation coming up for the Leathernecks.
Well, I thought Norvell made the right read on the play if he was going to throw the ball deep, because the Bison, with a lot of pre-snap movement, took Grimsley and put him into the position where he was the one safety, deep safety, so that opens up the outside edge. He had the right play called, but even when it left his hand, it still didn't seem like it had an opportunity to drop in there to make it a completion.
So Western Illinois in another punting situation. This one, kind of a short wobbler. Perkins will call for the fair catch with Leathernecks surrounding him at the 47-yard line.
Well, you know you want to catch it after the last one was bouncing away.
Stay tuned. We'll have the American Family Insurance hit of the game coming up for you afterwards. We've already got a few candidates out there, so stay tuned for that at the end of today's game between the Leathernecks and Bison.
MJ Stump, I believe, had that last week in Carbondale, didn't he?
Boy, he really had a hit last week.
Made it easy on us to pick that one.
So North Dakota State now in a short field again. And the Bison have been in pretty good field position all half long, LT.
But they're certainly in a position where you're thinking points again right here. Another lot of shift trade, motion, different looks, move that defense.
Stick to the ground game. Frazier has gotten a majority of the work here in the first half, and he plunges ahead for 3.
Brett Taylor on the tackle, kind of sidestepped Jedry Sear, who was one of the lead blockers, and got around the waist of the runner.
Taylor his 6th tackle already today, and we talked about him, just a sophomore, 11th in the country in tackles.
He's had some big games. I think against SIU was his biggest. If I remember right, he had 17 tackles in that game. So he was all over the field against Southern, just like DeLuca was against Southern last week. Same pre-snap movement motion from NDSU.
This time the jet sweep given to Dimitri Williams, and Williams showing off that speed. He's got a first down up to the 40, the true freshman from Rosemont High School.
Boy, Taylor had to hustle to get there. I thought this play at first was going to break a little bit bigger than that. The jet sweep, you wait for, it just strings everything out. You wait for that seam to open up, then you want to pop through it. Well, Williams got through it, and he got the first down, but Taylor kept it from being really big.
Take a look at the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay.
See, 44 scrubs off and then just gets on his horse.
It's a good thing he did, LT, or Williams may have had 15, 20 more yards on that play.
Yeah, and if you can beat the safety one-on-one, that one would have been a touchdown. So, again, a nice play by Taylor.
Stick on the play action. Has room in front, going downfield for Williams! And he could not come up with it, just off his fingertips and out of bounds. Beth Houle has a Missouri Valley Conference scoreboard update. Beth?
Hey guys, that's right. South Dakota State leading Illinois State 13-7 at half. A home game for them. That was a score just updated here in the Fargo Dome. They got a big round of applause from Bison fans. Rare
do the Jacks get an applause here in the Fargo Dome, but today that is a big game. Again, Illinois State on top of the league, the only undefeated team left in the Missouri Valley.
Yeah, that's the key game, and then I think the Indiana State at UNI game too, because one of those teams is going to knock the other one out of the playoff picture.
Shepard using some blocks. Boy, nice open field tackle again by Taylor after a gain of 2.
Boy, again, that play on the jet and the stretch, it looks like it's going to, King Frazier actually had a pretty good lead block, but Taylor going side to side about as well as a player can on those last couple of jet motion looks. Here's 22, Frazier with a good block, but Taylor just did not allow the running back to get to the second level to make that move.
Taylor, the National Defensive Player of the Week for his performance against Southern Illinois. 5 receivers out in the formation this time for the Bison.
Again, he's a hometown favorite too from Macomb.
Stick under pressure is going to take off. He's got room to the outside. Easton Stick down to the 20 and the 18-yard line. And you saw the quick feet of the redshirt freshman from Creighton Prep in Omaha.
If you're going to blitz, you better get the quarterback, because Stick will make you pay if you miss him. Nodak Mutual Insurance. Here comes the blitz right up the middle. He sidesteps that. There's no chance that a guy in the 50s and the 80s is going to catch him on the outside of the edge, and Stick has really good speed. Got to the perimeter so well last week. He's there again this week and picks up the first down.
Yeah, tough asking Kalen Saunders to chase Easton Stick at 300 pounds. Finally pushed him out of bounds at the 18 as the Bison are back in the Superior Inc. red zone once again. Play action. Bootleg for Stick. Fires to the end zone. This one is off the hands of Zach Fry. Incomplete.
Yeah, Stick just ran out of room through the air to try to make that a completion. The ball just goes a little bit too far. Vra, as we have seen over the years, is about as good as it comes at this level of making the catch and getting his foot down, but he couldn't get the catch, and he wouldn't have got his foot down anyway, I don't think.
The safety, Aaron Diggs, in on that coverage.
The one thing the rollout does, or the boot action does, is it certainly gives the receivers a little bit longer to sell that route, but that time, a little bit too much time. Stick probably could have got about 5 or 8 yards if he ran it.
Stick will dump it off inside. He has a blocker. That's Frazier. Steps out of one tackle. Frazier inside the 10. Down to the 4. And a first and goal coming up for North Dakota State after a gain of 12.
Well, I thought Frazier did a really good job here, Brian, of being patient after he made the catch. He waited for the big man to make the block. He's like, okay, there's 2 guys there. You get one, I'll make the other one miss. And that's exactly what happened. There's the one block. He steps through the other one. That's Coonard out there making that block and then finishes it off inside the 10 down to the 5 for the first down. Nice job there by Frazier to stay patient.
He looks like a different running back these last 2 weeks, LT.
Yeah, that man, he was, but he wasn't on the team at the beginning of the season.
Play action for Stick.
Wide open.
Bonnet in the corner. Touchdown!
That's an easy pitch and catch because of the play action fake. It held everyone inside. No one went with Bonnet on a kind of a soft release. Not the most perfect pass in the world, but Bonnet was able to catch it and then get himself over. Sold the run pretty well. I guess that pass was a little better than I thought it was initially. Bonnet just has to get inside the pylon, knocks it down, and that means he's in it.
Josh Smith was on that coverage and fell down as Peterson adds the extra point. And North Dakota State leads it 31-0 with 4:02 to go here in the first half. They have outgained Western Illinois 26-46 here so far this afternoon.
Well, remember back when it was 14-0 in the first quarter and we said, the Bison were in this position against the Coyotes, and then things kind of went let down. And just because of the talking with the coaches and the things that we've been around the last couple of weeks, Brian, and you know the sense of urgency, you just knew it wasn't going to happen this week, and it hasn't. Bison have kept the foot on that, on the gas pedal, slammed to the floor.
Certainly still a lot to play for here in November, LT. I think the thought is if North Dakota State can win out, and again, there's still a long way to go. You got to go to Youngstown next week and the Missouri State here to finish up the season. But if they can win out, has a chance to be a top 4 seed, get a bye, and then host a couple of playoff games. Especially
if the Jackrabbits hold on to their lead and hand Illinois State its first conference loss, then that scenario opens up even more of what you're talking about. It helps a lot more. That's why the Bison are cheering for SDSU this week.
And the Jacks, if they can pull off that win, have a chance to be a top 8 seed themselves.
And get a bye.
And they're mostly playing with a true freshman at quarterback in Taryn Christian here the last few weeks. And he's performed well. Lenore will take a knee. Leathernecks will try to get something going here, trailing by 31.
You just go back to the things you kind of take for granted. You almost take for granted that LeCompte is going to drive this into the end zone, and that one of your best playmakers, Lenore, is not going to have a chance to make a big play on a special teams. He didn't. He hasn't.
And Norvell has thrown for over 7,000 career yards and on track to break some Western Illinois records as well, but he's had tough sled so far today here at the Fargo Dome.
The Bison have put the pressure on him. I mean, Norvell's had some deep passes down the field, but just not long enough to make that extra half step to get into it. Here he is again.
Norvell on the out pattern. Nice job there by Lenore getting the feet down for a gain of 8.
Yeah, you sell the deep route, you break it off at 8. Nice timing pattern. Those two have done that a lot. You talked about Norvell's passing numbers. You know, Lenore's got more receiving yards than anyone else who's ever played at Western.
3 catches, 27 yards for him. Norvell under pressure. DeLuca's got him. And a sack for the junior from Omaha. Loss of 4.
I think Champion was on a jam on the outside, and he was looking for the slant. The slant wasn't there, and by the time he looked up, he saw a 4 and a 9 bearing down on him. I know DeLuca's going to get the sack, but you have to say thank you, Jordan Champion.
Bobcat game recap on that drive for North Dakota State. 8 plays, 51 yards, and just 3:34 as Andrew Bonnet makes the reception, and the touchdown is second of the season. 3rd and long once again as the Fargo Dome crowd gets loud. Watson motions out. Norvell under pressure again. Tried to throw it, and it is incomplete. And the Bison defensive line is having their way here in the first half.
Well, I think Norvell actually got the look he wanted because by putting the running back in motion, Grimsley has to go to single high safety. You have a one-on-one with Smith against Lenore, but he's got no chance to get this ball off. See, DeLuca just bearing down on him once again, and the Bison were all over him. No chance to pass that ball. He got the look that he really wanted. He's the receiver that he wanted, but there was no chance to get the pass off. Stanley
Jones also putting pressure on from his defensive end spot. That ends talking very, very highly about him this week as Perkin takes the return at his own 34, a little spin move, and then gets back to the 40-yard line. Tackle made on the play by Hunter Varga.
Just the way it's gone for NDSU, you're taking over near midfield again. You're at the 40, 60 yards away. You have 2 timeouts, 3 minutes left. You would expect more points if you're NDSU right here.
Yeah, coming into this game, LT, I don't think we anticipated it would be this type of margin at this point in the game. I mean, Western Illinois came in at 3-2. Has been very difficult. And as again, LT mentioned earlier in this quarter, stay tuned at the half. Beth Houle will have a chat with Carson Wentz coming up on the Proceed Halftime Report, talking about his recent invitation to a certain bowl game. As Bruce Anderson gets the carry, hops through the hole for 4 yards up to the 44.
The Bison running left, trying to get something behind Joe Haig, and we should maybe mention one of the things Joe Haig got this week. How special is it for an offensive lineman to be included into the Offensive Player of the Year watch list? That does not happen very often, so that's how impressive Haig has been this year.
And everything that Haig has gotten, he has earned.
Yep.
And this guy came in as a walk-on at 230 pounds, put on about 50 pounds, started as a redshirt freshman at tackle. Jeremy Kelly leading the way for Anderson, and Bruce Anderson down on his feet to the 45, 43-yard line. And the Bison continue to move the chains and pile up the yards on the ground. Now over 140 yards rushing in the first half.
Now the ground is where it's been done. Here's Kelly with the pull. Jedry Sears out in front of him. He's already flipped a guy. You don't see that. Kelly throws his body in there. You also see David Griffith throwing his body at the runner. In this case, Anderson, but not before another first down. How many is that? Is that what you're looking for?
Anderson 3 carries, 20 yards now in the afternoon.
I mean, how many first downs is NDSU up to?
12.
False start, offense, number 5.
That was Andrew Bonnet jumping early, lined up at tight end. We'll back up the Bison to the 48.
Yeah, 12 first downs in the first half. You know you're rolling some people when that happens.
Meanwhile, Western Illinois just 2 first downs, and they have minus 2 yards rushing. So that has certainly been an area that Western Illinois wanted to establish was the ground game, and they have not done it at all. As Frazier upended at the 47 after a gain of 1.
Well, we saw this a little bit last week too, where a penalty will slow your momentum down on offense. It just disrupts everything. NDSU was on a roll, first down, 5-yard penalty. You think 5 yards, that's not much. But it sometimes is just the gun that shoots yourself in the foot.
Pete Swenson making the tackle there. And of course, the redshirt freshman was a tight end last year, moved to defensive end, has done a nice job there filling in for La Chapelle, who is now out for the season with an injury. Stick, design quarterback run. And he is tackled by Griffith in the hole after a gain of 4.
That's what NDSU has done. You saw a little bit of a different look with Chase Morlock last week, kind of being the lead blocker. And this is Zach Johnson pulling to try to be the lead blocker. These are some things that, if you remember all the yards that Colin Kaepernick had when he was at Nevada, NDSU is running similar types of blocking schemes in the quarterback run game for Easton Stick.
Saw King Frazier with a nice block in the middle there too, as well as he stuck Michael Bischoff. Taking a look at the New Seed fan cam. It is a gold rush. You'll see a lot of gold in the building today. And some pink. I don't know, it's not that boring of a game. Beth Houle on the sidelines for us. Has a PetroServe USA sideline report, Beth.
Hey guys, you know I like to sometimes keep an eye on what's going on Twitter during the game, see if there's anything interesting buzzing. Well, right now, ESPN talking about Zach Frost's touchdown catch there to open up the football game. Go ahead and check out Twitter, guys, and give that a retweet. An exciting one. They're calling it maybe the best catch of the day already.
Tough to top it, I'll tell you that. Holy smokes.
Well, just a few seconds after it happened, you were saying, all right, ESPN,
oh,
wide
Stick.
open.
All he's got to do is hit him. Touchdown! Wow! Fake quarterback draw, drop back, and dropped it right in to Darius Shepard for a touchdown.
Well, that goes back a little bit to film study, because you know that Western saw all those yards that Stick was able to get off the edge running the ball. He pops behind the protection. Safeties are torched, absolutely torched, as bad as you can get on a play. Shepard was open 15 to 20 yards deep.
Well designed by North Dakota State and executed. Peterson, extra point, boom through, and this has been an annihilation here in the first half. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, you don't. They're beating up Western in about every conceivable way. Defense has scored the touchdown, got some turnovers. No real pressure put on the on the guys up front. Running game's going to almost 300 yards already in the first half. 291 yards rushing, which sets up plays like that. But your safety is just, well, it's not the first time the safeties have been beat today. Let's just say that.
We should say this: 291 total yards.
Oh, total yards. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It feels like 300 rushing yards.
Thank you.
Good balance. 151 on the ground, 140 through the air. Talk about momentum, 2LT, as you get towards the end of the season, and we've kind of seen that incline since the South Dakota game. Pretty good game against Indiana State, better game last week against Southern Illinois, and here today the Bison clicking on all cylinders on both sides.
Well, the Bison gave their margin, when you're looking at the playoffs, the big picture, they gave that away here the last time they played against USD, so they know they can't afford another one like that.
Lenore in stride, takes the kickoff. And Lenore stopped in his tracks. Bison covered up pretty well. Taken down at the 24-yard line. See Levi Jordheim in on special teams. Dan Marlette getting some time in at special teams as well. The freshman from Sioux Falls at the bottom of that pile. 39 seconds left until halftime. Stay tuned for the Proceed halftime report. Chris Berg, Alex Egan back at the studio. We'll have an update on stats and scores from around the valley, and of course that interview with Carson Wentz talking about an invite to the Senior Bowl. Stacy Smith will motion out. Smith will make the catch at the 20, up to the 30, and he takes a hit. Maybe a candidate for hit of the game up at the 33.
MJ Stump, the guy who got the hit of the game last week, comes in, hits Smith here. Simple, well-designed, just a simple little play. Throw it out to the wide. Maybe you'll get a block or two, but you got 9 yards on it.
Inside handoff for a first down. That will stop the clock momentarily up to the 36-yard line.
The Bison, of course, in a nickel package as well, not wanting to allow anything deep. So the two deep safeties. You're seeing Grimsley back deep.
Stacy Smith getting the carry there, and Smith will make the catch this time up to the 40, and Smith, the redshirt freshman at 160 pounds, hit hard again, but again picks up 10 yards.
Well, there's a guy who took himself out with a hit last week, I think, that came up and did that. That's Trey Dempsey that was coming in. He got a little concussed on an actual tackle he was making last week.
And a timeout taken by Western. And Smith, again, just 160 pounds, as a redshirt freshman, as a relative, April Sykes, that plays for the LA Sparks in the WNBA. You might have heard that name before. Here's a look at Coach Nielsen.
It's his third year at Western. Kind of worked his way up in Wisconsin, at coaching at Ripon, and then he coached for Wartburg and then Eau Claire before going to Duluth, I believe, is his coaching tree.
Was also athletic director at Minnesota Duluth, as well as head football coach. So maybe brings that aspect to it, LT, of knowing how to do more with less. Not always an easy thing for coaches to adjust to at this level, but certainly he's quickly turned things around at Western Illinois despite what the scoreboard says today.
Yeah, no matter what's going on in this game today, he has certainly made great strides in a short amount of time for the Leathernecks.
5 seconds left until half, and the Bison have about 4 guys 30 yards back or more. We haven't talked about it, but Trey Dempsey is playing today after getting knocked out of the game with a concussion.
Yeah, he just made that last hit as well.
Bison bringing pressure on Norvell, who will drop it off across the middle to Lenore, and Lenore to the 30, and Lenore will head out of bounds as time expires in the first half, and that will do it. North Dakota State, a dominating first half. 38-0 is the lead. Beth will catch up with Chris Kleiman, the head coach at North Dakota State.
Bison did not do much wrong in the first half of this one.
And Beth with a PetroServe USA sideline report. Beth.
Have to hear your thoughts on Easton Stick coming out and throwing the ball. He's just on fire.
Yeah, we're doing a nice job offensively, kind of taking what they're giving us, and guys around him are making some plays, and defensively we're doing a nice job getting the ball back to our offense.
Like you said, team effort out there, everyone playing well. How do you step it up in the second half now?
Well, we've only played 30. Last I know it's 60, right, Beth?
As always, he reminds me it's a 60-minute football game, guys. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Beth. Stay tuned. It's Harvest Bowl, and the Bison off to a strong start, 38-0. The Proceed Halftime Report is coming up in just a moment. Darius Shepard, the redshirt freshman, making another catch. North Dakota State is rolling. Back in a moment.
You're all excited to book that vacation.
To the Capital One Halftime Report.
Welcome to the ESPN 3 Halftime Report. I'm Chris Cotter. We're going to take you around the world of college football in a moment with the Goal Line Network. But first, let's show you a highlight from earlier on today. Close game. Early anyways, between Notre Dame and Pitt. First quarter scoreless. Opening drive for the Irish. Deshaun Kaiser is going to fake the handoff, and he's going to find his favorite target, Will Fuller. Kaiser hangs in there. 47 yards for the score. So Notre Dame goes on top 7-0. 7-3 at this point. This might be an important play for Notre Dame. CJ Prosise takes the handoff, or the pitch rather, and he hurts his shoulder. Comes over to the sideline. They look at it, take another look at the play, lands hard on it. He would go to the locker room and not return. 14-3 at this point. Kaiser again finding Fuller. These two hooked up early and often in this one. Fuller carries the defender into the end zone. 21-3 Irish. Now 21-10. Of course, Kaiser's going to look Fuller's way. Look at this great catch. Over the defender. His third of the day. 28-10 Irish. 28-17 right here. Pitt hanging around. But Josh Adams, who filled in nicely for Prosise, takes it in for the score, 42-30. Fifth-ranked Notre Dame with the win. Time for the Capital One Cup Impact Performance, and it's North Carolina's Marquise Williams. A school record 494 yards through the air. He had over 400 in the first half. 4 touchdowns, plus he had a rushing touchdown. North Carolina looks good in the Coastal. They beat Duke 66-31. As promised, we're going to join the Goal Line Network, already in progress. Don't forget, you can see this service available through several television providers and also on that Great Watch ESPN app. Enjoy.
Because it is not indisputable, and you can see how he lands so awkwardly, and as he was walking off, he did not look good.
See if that touchdown stands. Clemson deciding to kick a 25-yard field goal. That's Greg Hugel.
Just trying to get out of there.
Hugel, the chip shot from 25 yards. He's 2 for 2.
So Clemson goes 75 yards. A field goal drive, but a disappointing finish to the drive. And the Noles are going to take a 4-point lead to intermission, the first time Clemson's trailed at halftime.
You can see the look on Dabo Swinney's face. You're seeing.
Now to Virginia and Miami. Second down for the Hurricanes. Just one note, Brad Kaya is the quarterback for the Hurricanes, back after missing a week with a concussion.
Yeah, that's an embarrassment of riches when you got those 3 guys, don't you?
Well, then you give him a spell and you bring number 1 and play pass to him.
Here's Kaya, keeping it far side. A lot of pocket presence and poise by the sophomore there. Across the field and out of bounds before Mike Moore angled it.
Well, you're going to see Kennedy here in man coverage. The cornerback, watch 26 with his back turned the entire time, and eventually the receiver turns into a blocker and gives him enough padding. It's a 3rd down and short.
I had an former NFL GM tell me in July after seeing Kai in person, have you ever seen him? I said, well, I saw him at the ACC event, and he goes, he's got that look. Showed you a little bit of that look right there, didn't he? Just a sophomore, James. That's the thing. Mark Walton is the running back. Kaya tried to dial up Coley, who's already had another 100-yard game, his 4th of the year. At 7 for 139 to score against Florida State. And he's tearing it up today, 5-120 and a 67-yard strike here. And now Bashley will come on and try a 34-yard field goal. On the year, 17 of 20, longest 49 here 3 weeks ago against Virginia Tech. 34 on the far hash. And no good. Pushed it right. So a missed field goal stalls out Miami's opportunity. Canes still lead.
Tennessee and South Carolina, we have a flag on the play, though. Vols up 14-0.
Medical redshirt in 2014 suffered a season-ending knee injury against Oklahoma. He's fought to get himself back and just starting to hit his stride again.
That was a game in Norman. In Knoxville this year when Oklahoma came to town. Tennessee was on the verge of a key home win, and that kick-started the drama with that 4th quarter and overtime loss against the Sooners. They had a 17-3 lead in the 4th, allowed 2 touchdowns in the final 8:20, 4 touchdowns in the final 8:20, and 2 overtimes, and Oklahoma escaped. Be a different feeling around this Tennessee team had they won that one. Dobbs trying to escape. Hit as he throws. It is batted away. Flag on the play. Chris Lamons made the play in the end zone. That South Carolina guy slipping again. I wonder if Lamons keeps his feet and maybe pick that thing off.
Yeah, may have been his second. The result would have been his second pick of the season. We're glad to have him back. He's fought some injuries.
Ineligible player downfield, 55 offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
That's a center, Coleman Thomas, who got moving downfield.
Yeah, Lamons is a guy that has fought some injuries and back in the lineup and in there for Al Harris, and he brings a level of experience. Just a sophomore, but he has played a lot of snaps at South Carolina.
It was Sky Moore who brought the pressure on Dobbs. We haven't called Moore's name very often today. He's been the most productive defender for South Carolina this year. Pressure evaded with a screen, but no blockers for Hurd, and he loses his footing. Isaiah Johnson there. It's a gain of 2.
Yeah, it felt like he was going to have a big game, not only in run support, but making plays on the back end as well. And there, the transfer from Kansas, graduated early from Kansas, then transferred to South Carolina this summer and worked his way into the starting lineup. Extremely consistent player who's been named one of the permanent captains on this team in a very short period of time.
Kamara motions out straight ahead to Hurd, and Hurd gets wrapped up by Dante.
Back to Iowa and Indiana, and the Hoosiers with the ball. 2 seconds left, trying to make something happen.
Rush. Sudfeld trying to set his feet and load up. And incomplete.
He's like a javelin thrower who couldn't find a runway.
That ends 8.
All right, so the Hoosiers can't put any more points up on the board. Joshua Dobbs would love to add to their 14-0 lead, 3rd and long.
Dobbs from the pocket, fires complete.
Nice tackle.
And that'll bring up 4th down after the gain of 7. TJ Gurley, former K-Rose syrup maker, with the stop.
He is a good player, good open field tackler.
All right, now to Miami and Virginia. Cavaliers slowly moving the ball. 2nd and about 5.
Well, a year ago in Philadelphia, 683 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns for Olamide Zaccheaus.
And why not, Wes? See, I don't think you get enough of that in college football. It works. We're going gonna go back to it. We're gonna keep doing it until you show us you can stop it.
Yeah.
Steve Fairchild goes right back to it the very next play on the other side of the field. Miami with enough bodies over there to cover down that time.
John's in the gun. Mizell. A lot of room. Down the far sideline. Howard takes him down. Near the 25-yard line, and a big run by Smoke Mizell.
So very similar look on this play to the first two plays. That's the pass setting up the run. This time they hand it off to Mizell, and that's a nice big pickup. This is a good drive here for Virginia. In the second half, still trying to take their first lead of the game.
Mizell 58 yards on 11 carries. And he gets it again. Brought down to the 16-yard line. Jermaine Grace the stop for Miami.
What did Larry Scott tell Jen Hildreth at halftime going in? The passion and the juice. We've seen a lot of it here today, especially from this defense for Miami. But you've got to see it consistently. You've got to see it on every single play. It wasn't consistent against Duke last weekend, allowing the Blue Devils to come fighting back. And this has been all Virginia here these last four plays. They've just owned it.
Too tight look for the Cavaliers on second down. Here's Ham open. It'll be first and goal at the 3 for Virginia. Jermaine Grace, the linebacker, all the way across the field to make the stop.
Well, Mizell good out of the backfield, and don't forget about 22, Daniel Ham. A nice catch there, and then when he gets turned north and south, he can do some damage as well. Very athletic family. His mom was a lacrosse player back in college. And almost gets into the end zone. So one more time they're down here in that 8. It isn't a two-point conversion. That's 2 field goals and a safety. They've yet to get into the paint yet today.
They hand it to Zacchaeus. He'll score standing. Zacchaeus gets the rushing touchdown to put Virginia in a tie with Miami.
Boy, this was an impressive series here for Virginia. Everything seemed to work, and it worked together. You run this to set up this, and you have the defense on their heels when you give them that look and you fake that jet sweep handoff on the pass, and then you're able to hand it off and get to the edge.
All right, so we'll keep you posted there. Some other games across the nation. No score. Well, tied score between Ole Miss and Arkansas. Florida State up 10-6 on Clemson. Remember, the Tigers, they can clinch a spot in the ACC championship game representing the Atlantic Division. But they also need to stop Dalvin Cook, 157 yards, 1 TD. He came in averaging 148, so he's well surpassed his rushing average. Now, so Florida State's up 10-6. Here's Heather Cox with Noles head coach Jimbo Fisher at the half.
Coach, your quarterback, Sean McGuire, making his first road start. You've got a young O-line. How would you assess the way they've played in this road environment?
I've been very pleased the way we moved the ball. We had a couple opportunities. The last time right there, we needed to capitalize after stop on the 4th down, try to get some points. And, we had a pick down there, but at the same time, we moved the ball very well. We executed well in front of the crowd noise. We got a lead at halftime, and we still haven't played our best football yet.
And Dalvin Cook has been amazing, over 150 yards rushing already. Schematically, what have you guys done to get him such success?
Well, we've changed some motions and affected some safety supports at times. He got hats on hats, and he's making great runs.
Indeed he is. Thanks, Jimbo.
All right, we'll get back to that game when the second half starts. The second half already on its way between Army and Air Force.
The other thing it does is it creates a little wear and tear on Bradshaw, who's already has a shoulder issue.
Well, and that's the other thing, Hawk, we were talking about, whether the option was for Bradshaw to carry the ball more. Maybe he's a little more nicked up than anybody wants to let on, and they just don't want him to carry the ball.
Well, he has to. He's not a thrower. He's got to make some hay running the football here. He's one of their best athletes. He's their chance for a big play.
Capital One Studio update. Rutgers and Michigan, 3rd and 3 for the Wolverines. Jake Rudock to Amara Darboh. 8-yard TD strike. Wolverines up 35-13, 1:15 and counting before halftime. Back to South Carolina and Tennessee. Gamecocks with the ball down by 17, 3rd and 4.
3rd down 4. to the slant and Cooper. Farrell Cooper's got a first down, and he's spinning his way all the way to the power tee.
That's why earlier I was basically begging South Carolina to get the ball to this young man, even with inside position by Justin Martin. Didn't want to give up the slant. Farrell Cooper sets him up perfectly at the line of scrimmage and still got inside.
Orth keeps it. Is able to manage. Now they're going to mark him down back at the line of scrimmage. Say his knee came down. Derek Barnett, sophomore from Nashville, in on the stop. A lot of guys missing from this Tennessee defense. As good as they've been today, dealing with injuries with the loss of Shot Tuttle and Kurt Majit with a hip injury. Sean Golden out with a broken foot. He was their nickel back. He might be the biggest loss, talking to folks around the program. Here's Wilds. He cuts through, and Wilds has a first down. Gain of 12.
Boy, nice job by the offensive line. Mason Sandy along with Will Sport. Watch them work. They pull the left guard out in front. Nice kick out block by the center who's pulling Alan Knott as well. They block down, pull the guards around, and Brandon Wilds, I tell you, when he's healthy, he is a good one. And this is just about a must-have drive in some capacity in terms of getting points for South Carolina. They can really do themselves a lot of good here with a score before the half and then getting the ball out of halftime.
Orth looks to Cooper and through the hands of DJ Neal.
Yeah, that's on the receiver, Tom. You got to sit out there. Zone coverage. Don't run inside to a collision. And Orth was thinking the same exact thing. It's zone coverage. Sit down right there. I'm going to try to sit you down. He keeps working his way inside until there was an overthrow.
And he tried to sit down, but his left foot came out. Another slip for South Carolina. And he should have still caught the ball. Hit his hands.
No doubt.
Orth on the draw. First down, and he hits the turf after picking it up.
Boy, this is a perfect call.
We hope you have enjoyed coverage from ESPN's Goal Line Network. As a reminder, that service is going to continue to be available throughout the entire college football season. The ESPN app is a must-have for all college football fans. Never miss a touchdown or game-changing moment. All the best highlights delivered from the field to your phone in seconds. Download the ESPN app now. That's going to do it for the ESPN3 Halftime Report presented by Capital One. I'm Chris Cotter. Hope you have enjoyed it. Enjoy the second half, everyone.
Larry?
Jesse?
So, you got any big New Year's Eve plans?
Not at all. I'm just going to be sitting at home alone watching the college football playoff all by myself. Just me and the TV, you know.
Oh, hey, Larry. Thanks for the invite. Playoff party at your place.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
Party?
Well, yeah, it's less of a party, more of a small get-together.
Hey, Larry. See you at the party.
And John. He's coming.
Wow.
I know. You ever tasted his bean dip, man? Out of this world. So what's the best tradition in college football? Take a guess. Anybody? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. It's the playoff. It's only the second year. It's shiny and new like a little baby that I invented.
Oh, you invented it?
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Did you watch last year? Third string QB took home the trophy. Third string, that's you guys. You don't know what's going to happen in that playoff. I can't wait.
Aren't you supposed to be working or something?
Yeah, I am. Let's go, Dr. Bobby. That look regulation to you? I think it needs more air.
So let us see it. Let us see it. Whoa.
Oh, wow. It's regal.
Oh, my goodness. That's gorgeous, man.
It's shiny.
Beautiful.
Thanks, yeah. I love it. I don't think I want any bigger, though.
No, not at all. Not at all. No. So tell us the whole story.
Well, I went and gave him my size, and a few months later, we had a ring ceremony.
Oh.
Beautiful story. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I guess I should get back to work.
All right.
Tacky.
Was that even real?
Too much.
What is he thinking?
Too much.
You got blankets! Seattle Tiger! Seattle Tiger, Mike 90! Money, money, money! Money, money! Hey, keep my head down. But I keep on swinging. Hey, I keep my head down. Keep on swinging. Hey, keep my head down.
Bears Chargers at 8:10 Eastern, Monday on ESPN.
Clippers Mavs at 8, Spurs Blazers at 10:30. Wednesday on ESPN and streaming live on Watch ESPN. Presented by State Farm.
Tyson has big Evander Holyfield. This is unbelievable.
It didn't matter how good Evander was.
To be the heavyweight champion of the world, I'm going to have to fight the best.
He's a great fighter, but I don't think anyone can beat me.
I'm chasing titles. I wasn't chasing Tyson.
Finally, it is showtime.
What if I told you to become the real deal, he had to go through iron? ESPN Films presents a 30 for 30 film brought to you by Volkswagen. Chasing Tyson, Tuesday at 8 on ESPN.
This New Year's Eve will be so awesome. The stuff.
Fargo Dome getting set to kick off the third quarter. North Dakota State leading 38-0. Brian Shawn, Lee Timmerman, and Beth Houle on the sidelines for us today. Ben LeCompte will boot it away, and Western Illinois has to get something going. LT, what are your thoughts on how the Leathernecks can get some momentum here in the second half?
You go back to the basics, try to get a few first downs. And I think here for Western it's probably much better that they get the ball here to begin the second half. See if you can get something going, keep your defense on the sideline.
Beth Houle, as I mentioned, on the sidelines as a PetroServe USA sideline report. Beth.
Obviously a tough first half for Western Illinois. I tried to catch up with head coach Bob Nielsen after halftime. He wasn't really interested in it. When I said, ask for anything he might have said at halftime, he said, you just got to play better. So that's, I guess, the message to his football team here for the second half.
Beth, thank you. And there's a look at Coach Nielsen.
Well, Bob, the good thing is you can't play worse. You have to play better than the way they played in the first half.
Trent Norvell struggling in that first half, 10 of 17 for 99 yards and an interception.
But only one rushing yard. That's the big thing.
Norvell will swing it out here, and that ball is dropped by Borsellino. So the second half doesn't start any better than the first half ended.
No, you assume this is about one of the most simple plays you have. You just pitch it out to Borsellino. He catches it, has two wide receivers in front of him to try to pick a block, and if you can sidestep one guy, you shoot up the sideline and make a potential big play. But you forgot the first part of that equation, and that's catch the ball.
Nico Watson in the backfield has not been a factor today, although he will make the catch here. And the big man, popped by MJ Stump and Jalen Allison, but he's got enough for a first down up to the 36.
I think it's a real big surprise that Watson had one net rushing yard. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. This is obviously a pass, comes flared out. It's kind of wheels out a little bit from the backside and gets the first down.
Borsellino has another chance at it, and he is stopped still trying to step out of a tackle and steps around Trey Dempsey and gains 3 yards up to the 40.
But doesn't that surprise you a little bit going back to Watson? I mean, he needs 113 yards rushing in the second half to get his average of 114. I don't think he's going to get there today, but that is the biggest thing I think on the offense that Western couldn't move the ball on the ground at all.
And Watson drops that one. And Nico Watson, 4 carries, 1 yard. That's it in the first half.
And 2 drops on simple little pass pattern plays. First one to Borsellino, this one from Watson. I mean, you just can't have that. Now you're third and long.
Western Illinois 2 of 7 on third down in the first half. Four-man rush. Norvell stepping around a couple guys, and this one is almost intercepted by Jordan Champion. Borsellino, the intended target.
Boy, it seemed like Norvell wanted to bring that play further to the outside, but Schatz wouldn't let him. He kind of sealed off the potential boot, made Norvell step up. That made his timing off just a little bit, so he released the ball later than he probably wanted to.
So another punting situation here for the Leathernecks.
Pretty good defensive series for NDSU to open up this half.
Low snap. Best punt of the day by far for Western Illinois as Perkins will backpedal to the 13, make the fair catch there, and that's where North Dakota State will have it for their first possession of the second half.
Well, the Bison went big play through the air and was able to connect a bunch in that first half. Here in the second half, the MO has always been to kind of try and grind it out and wear down the defense.
There's a look at Easton Stick, and Stick again doing it with his feet as well, leading the team in rushing in that first half with 6 carries, 450 yards. He's also 8 of 14 for 140 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. But Connor Wentz will shift over.
You see when Wentz shifted how many white jerseys had to shift as well? That's why the Bison do that pre-snap movement.
Power play up the middle. That's Frazier. Boy, he's been running real hard today, and he drags Brett Taylor for a gain of 8.
Taylor had a hold of him, but Brott tried to get down along the legs of Frazier. He just bounced right off of Frazier. 35 is the guy I'm talking about. Down by the legs. He runs right through that one. Then Taylor goes for a little ride of about 8 yards.
Frazier also having a productive day, as we mentioned, now 11 carries for 48 yards for King. Stick will pull it out and keep it. Darting around the edge. Boy, Easton Stick, he is slippery. Up to the 36, good enough for a first down, and he will add to his rushing total there.
Well, he's just faster than most quarterbacks as well, and you can see this. Check out 58, Baxter. He's the man making the read, so he takes his normal route. He's like, hey, this is how I would normally go to get someone who's trying to make a play on the edge, and then Stick is able to just beat him with speed to the spot and to pick up the first.
Xavier Rowe in on another tackle. The defensive backs making a majority of the tackles today for Western Illinois. Outside of maybe Brett Taylor, who's had a nice football game so far. Play action again. Albert's open. Stick hits him across midfield. Another nice gain of 15 up to the 49.
But there's all kinds of numbers and stats that you can find to tell you about a football team. But here's one, as we look at the replay, I'll tell you about. The Bison coaches, their formula for victory in the last 5 years or so, maybe a little bit more, has been 50. That's the combination of rush attempts and pass completions. When the Bison get 50 or more, they win. They had 33 at halftime. We've seen a couple of more completions, a couple of more rushing, so the Bison are going to get to 50 plus today.
Stick will throw, one-handed catch. And Urzendowski will gain about 5 yards up to the 44.
Well, the catch is sweet, but the other thing too is we talked about it in the first half in terms of the turnovers, and NDSU came in at minus. Look at the ball security at the end of this play. C.J. Smith was able to rip one out of Lenore's hands early in the first half. Urzendowski, both hands around that ball. He got what he could, got upfield, got about half of what was needed for the first down, but also knew there's no way I'm going to put this ball on the turf no matter how many people are yanking at it.
We always look at time of possession because North Dakota State leads the country in that category at about 37 minutes a game. Frazier.
Yeah, this is just Frazier's just finishing unlike he did in the first 6 games, 5 games. Kodak Mutual Insurance replay, yards after contact. But when you have 177 yards last week and some long runs for touchdowns, it gives you the confidence as well.
And this is a good tandem of tackles in the middle for Western Illinois. I mean,
very good. They're about as good as NDSU is going to face this year.
Stick will keep it again, following a block, and Stick hit hard by Brett Taylor across the 30 down to the 27. Another big gain, and enough for a first down to the 27.
Well, you mentioned the tackles, Brian. On that play, that's exactly who I watched. Watch the interior. Both tackles slanted left are taken off the play. So Stick reads that, comes back to the near side, and picks up the first down. But yeah, the Bison owned those tackles on that play, and they've done a pretty good job against them all day long.
Yeah, Harley and Ricketts, they're looking a little bit tired, LT. They've played a lot of reps already.
Yeah, Saunders and Nelson have also been in there. So there's 4 different guys that have been in at that tackle position, but it's Harley and Ricketts in there right now.
Stick will keep it again. And Stick is going to take off this time, using Albers as a blocker, and Easton Stick
Got the first, I think.
Yeah, he did, up to the 16, and another first down. And Neaston Stick now nearing 100 yards, 86 rushing yards so far on the day.
Well, he's so dangerous, obviously, you know, on the boot. Nothing there to pass it. Took off running.
This game brought to you in high definition by Parents Lead. Have conversations with your children that matter. Log on to parentslead.org. The Bison once again in the Superior Inc. red zone, where they have been pretty much automatic so far here today. Quick handoff on the jet. Not much room that time for Williams, and boy, big hit by Western Illinois coming in there to make the stop. Pete Swenson.
Well, Sear was able to cut his guy, but Williams couldn't quite cut in front of that early enough. Sears number 30, he takes care of Brott. Brott comes down, stops the momentum of the play from Williams. You saw how he tried to cut inside of that, but couldn't do it.
And this drive starting way back at the Bison 14-yard line, and they've marched it down the field. Moody, the motion man. Lance Dunn getting his first carry, using a block. Dunn to the outside, and Dunn inside the 10. Going to be very close to a first down, and he should have it at the 6-yard line.
I mean, this drive has all the appearances that'll end up in the end zone, but even if it doesn't, then the first possessions for the Bison have been good ones. The defense, you know, forced the punt, and now the offense has just got it all the way down to the 6-yard line. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Dunn trying to be physical at the end, and that last little bump with his shoulder is what got him the extra yard that he needed. So nice little physical play at the end of that run from Dunn.
210 rushing yards now for North Dakota State so far, and we got a long way to go in this football game. Frazier will not be denied, and he's in for the touchdown.
That play was blocked so well that Frazier was trying to look for something to make a move, and then all he realizes, I don't have to make a move, I'll just run forward. Look there is nobody there till he gets to the 1-yard line, and a play that started at the 6. Again, outstanding work done inside.
Boy, Connor Wentz just blew Swenson about 8 yards back off the ball there, LT. Peterson on for another extra point.
That was a solid performance by the offensive line on that drive.
Peterson, good again. And North Dakota State has extended the lead to 45-0 with 8:16 to go in the third quarter. And North Dakota State getting it done on the ground. And King Frazier has his first touchdown of the day. Bison lead it 45-0. Big boys on the offensive line there, taking a look at the work they did. 10 plays, 86 yards, and 549 on the Bobcats game recap. Capped off by a King Frazier 6-yard touchdown.
You could not ask for more than that on an opening drive from your offensive line, to just go out there and continue to dominate.
Peterson Farm Seeds proudly brings you another Bison kickoff as well as a product lineup. That'll give you every reason to stand tall, and LeCompte does what he does. Another touchback, and we'll take another break. 45-0, NDSU leads on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. First handoff of the day, and a nice run by one of the backup running backs for Western Illinois, Devin Moore. The junior from Jefferson City, Missouri, has a first down up to the 44.
That's the best point of attack hole that Western has had to run through. Moore is just able to cut it right up. The Bison did not fit that as well as they would want it. That's one of the bigger plays of the day for Western.
Norvell will throw this time under pressure, airing it out, looking deep for Walker. And Williams.
Yeah, Javon Williams that time ran a little, it wasn't a stop, it was kind of a slow down and then another burst. He slowed down, appearing like he was going to make a cut or an out at about the 12-yard mark, and then burst upfield and created the separation between Champion. But I tell you, Norvell has not been able to drop the long passes over the top today.
Moore again keeps his feet, keeps charging ahead for a gain of 4 up to the 48. Javon Williams, one of those guys that can make those deep plays. Again, he only has 13 catches but 200 yards, so more of a big play receiver.
Okay, he came in with a long of 52, but an average of over 15, so kind of backs up your point.
Western Illinois, 3rd and 7.
The one-on-one's the top of your screen. That's Smith against Lenore, and I'm a little surprised that Western has not gone to this more and had more success to number 7.
Bison bring pressure again across the middle, and the official kind of got in the way as Hoogerwerf was the intended target, and another 3rd down stop for North Dakota State. Western Illinois really struggling on 3rd down, now just 2 of 9.
Again, I think Norvell makes the right read. The pass over the middle, the backers vacated. He went to where he was supposed to. You see DeLuca on the rush. Stump clears off to his right. And then the miss over the middle. But I guess some days when you're just off, you're off, huh?
C.J. Smith back this time will let it bounce at the goal line, and boy, almost a nice job on special teams as Hoogerwerf ran down there to bat it back, but Western Illinois unable to keep it out of the end zone, and that'll be a touchback for NDSU. We'll take another timeout. Bison lead at 45-0 on the A Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Fans happy and excited. They are dancing as we take a look at the New Seed fan cam. Bison faithful excited their home team is taking care of business here on their home turf. Kids wearing a popcorn bucket on the
Why wouldn't you?
I guess that's a great point, LT. 6:51 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and the Bison going to run it again. And boy, they are just getting chunks of yardage now at will. And that guy is having himself a football game. King Frazier, another 1st down.
Zach Johnson just pulls and gets the seal. Nodak Mutual Insurance, watch number 66, takes care of the guy at the point of attack. And Broth was too late to the hole. Frazier runs right past him. 1st down.
70 rushing yards now for King Frazier on 14 carries. Stick still the leading rusher at 86 yards.
But again, I've been so impressed by the way Frazier's been able to finish his runs today.
Power play again, and this time Western Illinois is there. Nice play by the true freshman Quentin Moon. Coming in from his linebacker spot to make the stop.
Now Moon kind of came in low and then almost popped up a little bit behind the play and was able to cut the thing off and throw it for a loss. And you said freshman, and again, the backside of this Western defense is so young. You know, Moon obviously a freshman, but he's backing up a sophomore, and that's the case in a lot of positions for the Leathernecks.
Stick will throw as he rolls out. Fires on the move. Shoestring catch. Boy, this guy is making some catches today. Man alive. Zach Vrah does it again.
Yeah, he's made the catch that everyone around the country is already talking about. ISO'd on Vrah, runs the player deep, cuts off the route, works his way back to the quarterback, tiptoes, and that is another gorgeous catch. Stick's pass goes down. It's nosediving toward the turf. And Vrah says, I'll take that one.
Wow.
Man, that's good stuff.
Man.
As many times as we've seen, yeah, Vrah money, you just smile every time he pulls it off, and you expect him to make those catches. He's done it so many times.
Flags come flying, or excuse me, timeout.
Is that the reason he meaning Vrah is like all-time leader in receptions and all-time leader in yards, and now tied with Strelo for all-time touchdowns?
Well, it helps to hang around for 6 years too.
It certainly does, but you need to catch the ball.
Western Illinois is challenging the ruling of a completed catch.
Looked pretty
well,
good
Bob,
on our
I thought
end.
he caught it.
Well, Bob had a better look than we did. He was right there on the sidelines. He doesn't look real happy right now. It's been a long afternoon.
No, he shouldn't be happy at all. His team just got manhandled and mauled in the 1st half.
And it's continued here in the second half. We should talk about it, LT. Western Illinois, people say Leathernecks. What is that all about? Well,
I love the nickname. It's one of the best nicknames in all of college sports.
And it comes from the military.
Yeah, they borrowed it.
It comes from the military, and it's actually the only non-military school to be able to use that name. It comes back from the 30s. Their coach was a veteran.
And started in 27, actually. 1927 is, and the Leathernecks, it's the nickname for the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And
as well as the Bulldog.
Yep.
And that's where the Bulldog comes in. That's why it makes sense. So I think that's kind of a unique mascot and tribute, certainly to the military.
Yeah, I think it's not only clearly one of the best nicknames in the conference, but in all of college sports.
Boy, it was close to the turf, man. I will say that, but I don't know if there's enough there to overturn it. I just didn't see a bobble or a bounce.
No, he caught it clean. And you have to have enough evidence to overturn the call on the field.
And again, North Dakota State elects to have replay available for all their games.
We did not have it last week.
Did not have it available at Southern Illinois. They have been selected. Northern Iowa has it for all their games.
This might be a little bit better angled to see exactly where the ball is. Ross feet her in. All right, Connor Wentz, get your head out of the way.
Ooh, that ball may have hit the turf.
Aha. That could be the one that Coach Nielsen was looking at.
I think Coach Nielsen just looking for something. Get his defense off the field here a little bit. We talked about time of possession. North Dakota State's had it 27 minutes already.
Well, the replay booth and the Bison here maybe not liking the fact that we were ISO'd on draw on that play. But the replay booth is like, that's their best look. So we'll see if they determine that's enough to turn it over.
Boy, they're taking a long time looking at this, too. Here's another look at it. Nodak Mutual Insurance. Watch the hands, watch the ball. It really was nosediving. And, ooh, I think that did bounce. I mean, it was hard to tell initially, LT, but when you look in. Yep.
But he just caught it so clean that it looked like he kept it off of the turf. But that football's on it now.
There's a look at the replay booth.
Well, I know the replay too. Just to continue your thought, that's been a big push from Patty and everybody within the conference to try to get it in every stadium for every game. They're not quite there yet, but the Missouri Valley Football Conference is getting closer.
And the one person who really pushed that before it got mainstream was Craig Bowl and Gene Taylor when they were here. They were adamant about replay.
It'll be 3rd down and 7 at the 27-yard line. Please set the game clock to 5:32, please. 5:32. Western Illinois will not be charged with a timeout.
Now that was the one last question I had. It was whether Coach Nielsen got his timeout back, and that was answered.
I think they'll have to reset the chains now as well, because the chains are set up at the 31, but they should be 3rd and 7 from what we understand. So the chains would have to come back to the 25. Is that right?
The referee's over there now trying to figure out.
Or is it 3rd and 14?
Well, it was 3rd and yeah, it was. Remember,
it was 3rd and 14.
Start on the snap. Yeah. Thank you.
That's right. Don't forget about the nice play that Quentin Mood made.
Correct.
To have the -4 yards.
So 3rd and long. NDSU has not been in this situation a whole lot. They are 3 of 6 on 3rd down today. Stick to throw, looking across the middle, open receiver, and that one again is just a little bit short. He had Jeff Ilias open in the middle of the field.
And Stick hasn't done a lot of that pocket passing so far. That's not to say he can't, and it's not to say he won't. He just hasn't yet. Nodak Mutual Insurance replay, you'll kind of see what Stick sees. Tries to step up and sling it in there, but he couldn't fit it.
So Ben LeCompte will come on for a punt.
The good thing about something like that, though, if you're going to miss, don't miss high. Remember Brock Jensen? Jensen had it out every once in a while. When he missed, he would miss high, and then it would get picked. That time he missed, but it was low, no interception, no turnover.
Western showing like they may be coming here to apply some pressure, so the Bison tighten things up. And yeah, they're coming. As it will sail into the third row.
Not his best, probably his worst of the year.
Well, that one shanked by number 19. Ball will come out to the 47 of Western Illinois.
That might be a generous spot for the Bison. It looked like it was shorter than that. Well, here's where Western has to try to take advantage of a little something. You got the, you used the timeout to get the replay, to get the call overturned. You made the stop. You got the ball in a short field.
Swung out. Ball caught. Boy, Bison have been there again. Pierre G. Tucker making the catch after Jalen Macklin makes the reception.
Tucker just blows through the block. I think it was Lenore who was trying to make the block, and Tucker was just more physical. Of course, Tucker has the defensive play of the game so far for NDSU, the pick 6.
That's where things really seem to take off. Bison really disguising a lot of different things, LT. Running guys up, showing pressure, and then backing off. This time they bring 4. Norvell, boy, nice catch on the sideline. And again, that's Acklin making the catch in front of Jordan Champion for a first down to the 40.
Now keep in mind, you need the 1 foot in for college, and that's what Acklin had. Kind of a delayed blitz off the high side coming to the screen right. You'll see Tucker coming in there, but he's engaged by the tackle. No pressure on the quarterback.
Downfield, wide open receiver is Lenore. And Western Illinois is finally on the board with a deep touchdown pass. 40 yards, Norvell to Lenore.
His 5th touchdown catch of the year. Just try to beat the man deep, and that's exactly what Lenore was able to do.
The top 20 in FCS in receiving yards a game at 93, and he's exceeded that now with that catch. 5 receptions, 96 yards now for Lance Lenore. Extra point is up and is added by Nathan Knuffman. And Western Illinois finally able to get on the board here with 4:22 to go.
Here's an ISO in the Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. You saw C.J. Smith almost looked like he wasn't ready to defend the play. Got beat deep, and Norvell was finally able to get the ball out. He's had some open looks deep, and that one was a spot-on pass.
Lance Lenore, first team All-Valley preseason selection.
But Western came up to the line. You know, we were looking at the replay. They came up, they quick snapped it. Not a look that time, just a 1 quick look. Took the high side, got the touchdown.
Luke Otto will come on once again here to kick away to North Dakota State. And if you're the Bison now up by 38, LT, when do you maybe start cycling some of these younger players into the football game? You see Bruce Anderson back for this kick return.
Well, you'd think it would come in the 4th quarter for sure. Might have came on this possession if Western hadn't just scored.
Otto, pretty good boot to Anderson. 7 yards deep, will wisely take a knee, and North Dakota State will have it at the 25-yard line on that Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. The crowd has certainly thinned a little bit here in the second half as the Bison faithful that are remaining gladly hoping to celebrate a win as we take a look at the Bobcat game recap on that drive for Western Illinois. Took him just 59 seconds, of course, 40 yards on that play to Lenore on the touchdown.
Yeah, it didn't take long at all after that last little catch, that out on the really nice deep. Didn't appear like Smith was ready, and Lenore ran right past him.
Starting offensive line still in there. Now Williams and Moody in at wide receiver.
But this 12 personnel has been real good today for NDSU.
And that's Bruce Anderson running hard, but taken down after a short gain of 1. Diggs coming in to make the stop. Brett Taylor in on another tackle as well.
Trying to get both guards out to the edge. Johnson was pulling, Kelly was pulling.
Now under 4 minutes to go here in the third. Darius Anderson has checked in at running back now for North Dakota State. Anderson gets the carry, following blocks. Again, not much. Anderson a yard up to the 27. We'll bring up another third down.
Someone's still not up for NDSU. Johnson?
Looks like Zach Johnson. Again, Zach missed some time with a stress fracture in his foot.
We talked about it off the top on kind of how Johnson's return back into that offensive line gave NDSU the 5 guys that they wanted there, with Plankers being the 6th in that rotation. But Zach, you said missed that time. Now they're on the lower leg on his right side. Hope it's nothing serious, because he has missed time.
This game brought to you in high definition by Speak Volumes. And remember that one drink isn't always, I should say, just one drink. Speakvolumes.nd.gov is the web address to check out more information. Johnson getting some help as he comes off, but he is moving his legs and is putting some pressure on both legs. Hopefully that is a good sign.
Well, everyone around the country knows how much talent that kid has. He's a preseason All-American coming into this year, and then unfortunately, as we talked about, and for the reasons we talked about, he has missed a bunch of time. Looks like Plankers is going to go to the guard position on the left side.
We haven't talked about it much, but Connor Riley, glad he can actually cycle some offensive linemen through between Plankers and Zeemers. Made some starts. They have a little more depth there than they've had, but certainly their starting unit, when they get clicking, pretty tough team to stop. 3rd and 8 coming up from the 22. Stick, naked boot, fires. That's a nice throw. Wow, Houston Stick on the run, puts that one on the money to R.J. Urzendowski for a first down up to the 36.
Well, Zach Braw helps clear. Braw sucked the safety up a little bit too. He was running the fly to try to pull Urzendowski, let the trail guy be the guy who's open. Nice tight spiral. You're right, Brian, one of his better balls that he's thrown today. Picks up the first down. It's a combo route that the Bison run a lot.
And that'll take another couple of minutes off the clock here for North Dakota State as we wind down the third quarter.
Because if the safety does bust down too much, then you try to throw it to the fly guy.
Back to the run. Bruce Anderson didn't like what he saw at Xavier Road, was stopped in his tracks, taken down for a loss of 4.
And then he was trying to bounce it, and that's where Taylor was, so he wasn't going to bounce it outside either.
Number 6 looking to fill in there.
Pete Swenson, number 50, in on that play as well.
Back to the run. That's Lance Dunn, and he's buried. That time the defensive end, Eddie Holtzschlag, got in there to make the stop.
Well, and that long touchdown drive to start the third. NDSU was dominant offensively up front. Now the offensive line on this particular drive in this part of the field is so far unable to move anybody.
Western Illinois making some substitutions here on 3rd and 14. Empty formation, 5 receivers out for North Dakota State. Stick to go to the air, across the middle to Shepard, who hangs on. Took a hit from Diggs, all the way down to the 41-yard line.
Maybe the best pass Stick has thrown from the pocket this year. Watch his footwork on this one. He sets up, is able to step into the throw, and then drills it right over the middle, right on the mark. And Shepard did a fine job on the other end of that to corral it, because he was, I guess, battling for the football.
Back to the ground game. Anderson scoots up, dragged down from behind after a gain of 2, and we got an update on Zach Johnson, who limped off a couple of moments ago. They have untaped his ankle, taking a look at that right now. So that appears to be the injured area.
Watch 66. We're looking at the injury. What happened?
Anderson kind of cuts behind him, and then Swenson.
And then here he comes. He gets rolled on.
Didn't look too bad, but certainly looks like he got twisted up a little bit.
Well, that can happen. We saw one of the Southern offensive linemen last week get kind of rolled on, and he had to be helped off with a knee.
Last play of the 3rd quarter. There's a run for Lance Dunn. Most room he's had today, inside the 35 down to the 33, and that will bring up 3rd and 2 when we start the 4th quarter. And yeah, it's the 4th quarter, so hold up your 4, because it's the 4 for 4 from PetroServe USA. Get a pizza, 2 cookies, and a drink at all 24 PetroServe USA locations. Get your 4 for 4 every day at PetroServe USA. We'll be back with the final 15 from Fargo after this. Each team trading touchdowns in that 3rd quarter. King Frazier bowling his way in from 6 yards out for his first touchdown today. Lance Lenore finally getting Western Illinois on the scoreboard late in that 3rd quarter, as you are watching this game on KVLY and the NBC North Dakota Sports Network in high definition. Have to be impressed with the numbers Easton Stick is putting up today. 12 of 20 for 197 yards and 4 touchdowns. And most importantly, LT has not turned the football over. Inside handoff goes to Dunn. Needs a 36, and he got to the 31, and he got to the 30 for a first down.
Zone blocking up front. Just kind of give it to Dunn and let him try to pick the hole or see what he can find. He shuffles off to his left and then gets the well, about 1.5 yards is what he needed.
And Easton Stick is coming off after that first down, and Cole Davis into the game. Davis has not seen much action certainly this season. A 6'3" sophomore. Zach Zemer into the game for the injured Zach Johnson as well, so likely won't see any more Zach today. Hopefully he will be available next week.
Yeah, Planker stays in and moves from left guard to right tackle.
Dunn again squeaking through a hole, and Lance Dunn picks up 3. Up to the 27. We haven't talked about him much this season, LT, because that's not affected North Dakota State, but the turnovers and the turnover margin has been an issue. -4 in the bottom quartile of the FCS in that department, something that I know Tim Polasek really wants to improve on with his team.
Usually that stat is reflected in your record, but NDSU has been able to play well enough to certainly overcome that minus turnover. Most teams can't do that.
Anderson following blocks, and Bruce Anderson has a big hole as he wrestles his way down to the 15-yard line. Finally taken down, but a nice gain of 11.
Boy, when the seam opens up, Jed Resear is in there. Zemer with the little seam, you see 78. That's Landon Leckler. That's a pretty easy place to run the ball right there. I mean, Anderson didn't have to decide anything. The hole opened up, where it was supposed to and at what time it was supposed to. So everything worked.
Griffin finally making the tackle as North Dakota State moves the chains, and the Bison back in the Superior Inc. red zone once again. Option look. Davis is going to keep it and falls down at the line of scrimmage. Well defended that time by Western Illinois.
I know it was an option look, but I can't imagine that the Bison coaching staff wanted Davis to pitch that one very bad. I think there's this, take the look, keep it, don't risk the ball, don't risk the turnover.
Western Illinois has been on the field a long time. North Dakota State has had the ball for 34 minutes so far here this afternoon, and we still got 12 and a half to go. Power play this time to Anderson, who squeaks through a hole to the 5, and Bruce Anderson has a first down to the 2-yard line.
Anderson just keeps picking his way forward. Here's the seam. Boom. You hit it. And again, the timing of it is the main thing. The hole was there when it was supposed to be there, and then the running back has to hit the hole at the right time. If he's a step too late, it's not a first down. If he's a step too early, the hole's not there.
Dan Sargent now checking in at fullback for Jedry Sear, and Sargent getting an opportunity here. Bison will try to punch this in. That looked like a tired defense on that drive, LT.
Yeah, Lance Dunn gets the reward. Offensive line gets him in there. And how NDSU is kind of cycling out some of its starters on the offensive line. Leatherneck's kind of doing it on this drive on the defensive line as well. The two big guys not in there, and the Bison able to make some hay right up the gut.
Peterson on to add the extra point. He boots it through. North Dakota State making a statement here at home in the Harvest Bowl. It's 52-7 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Welcome back to the Fargo Dome. Brian Shawn, Lee Timmerman with you. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff, kicking off your planting season. With Peterson Farm Seed and LeCompte will boot this one towards the end zone, and another knee will be taken. And boy, LeCompte taking the return game away from Western Illinois today.
Well, Peterson's got their money's worth for the kickoffs, and Superior has gotten their money for the red zone today.
And the Bobcat game recap has gotten their money's worth.
It's been up there a lot too.
Wow, Mike Meat Grinder. 14 plays, 75 yards in 7.5 minutes. Exactly what the doctor ordered for NDSU.
And that drive finished again with Cole Davis on the field, Zemer on the field, some of those types of players getting some opportunities to play. Same thing here for the Bison on defense now. We see Matt Plank in at linebacker.
Yeah, Dan Marlette, Chris Board getting an opportunity as he's been moved to linebacker there. As McShane darts ahead for 4. Jalen Wimbush also in at safety with Andrew Smith. And I think that's Dakota Reed as well, getting an opportunity at cornerback. Redshirt freshman from Chicago. Reed coming on a run blitz, and he's the one that makes the tackle. You know, there's interesting stories with every college football player, but I don't know if I know another one more interesting than Dakota Reed.
Enlighten us, sir.
His siblings are all named after cities or states. Houston, Colorado.
Okay, see, I always have another question. So is Dakota after North or South?
Well, hopefully North, because he's here.
That was a pretty good hit by Board.
On Borsellino.
But Borsellino's able to hold on and pick up the first. No, we dropped it, sorry.
Wimbush darting off the field as NDSU trying to get the right personnel on for the punt return.
Also, if you're seeing number 52 out there and trying to figure out who that is, that's Butler at halftime. He had to switch his uniform. So Number 56 is now number 52.
Wobbler. Perkins will run up, call for the fair catch, and take it at the 34. And North Dakota State in good shape, up 52-7 with 10:51 to go on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Team in response to their last home game here, and they have completely controlled things from the outset against Western Illinois. Darius Anderson shakes off a tackle and makes something out of nothing. Taken down by Bischoff.
Yeah, it looked like it might have been a 3-yard loss, and he got almost 2.5 yards out of it.
Riggs Baxter also in there, another true freshman.
Bison on the right side of the line had Luke Bacon and Tanner Volson in as well.
A couple of North Dakota kids from small towns. Luke Bacon, of course, from TGU. Played his football there. And Volson from Balfour played at Drake Animus. Anderson showing good feet in the hole. Darts ahead again for a gain of 3. And Baxter in on another tackle along with Swenson, who's getting up slowly.
Brock Russell, number 67, pulls inside on this little power look and makes a very nice block. He also got some help on that play from his tight end.
Russell, one of those seniors that has not played a lot, played at Bemidji State, transferred here after a good high school career at Mandan High School. Davis is going to take off with it, cut it up. Good feet there as Cole Davis picks up a first down across the 45 to the 47.
Well, Cole knows that when he's running the ball, he'll never be mistaken for stick, but boy, he does a nice job of really finishing this one. Made a good move about 3 yards before the down marker that allowed him to get the first. Thought I saw Kayvon. Yeah, there he is. Kayvon Hawkins, number 18, the wide receiver on the high side. Just came in. Redshirt freshman.
Back to the power. That's Bruce Anderson stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a yard up to the 48. As we take a look at our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. Tofu became a popular cooking ingredient during the what dynasty in China? They are digging deep.
Ming is the only thing I can think of. So
you know what? We're going to go with it.
And I'm sure there's been multiple dynasties in China since that country's been around for a long time. I think whoever picks the trivia questions, just they're trying to find ones to make us sound as stupid as possible.
I'm surprised you didn't ask another question of what defines dynasty. There's a run to the outside, and how about the shake from Bruce Anderson? He's close to a first down, a couple of yards short to the 45.
Or I didn't realize that the TV show Dynasty was so popular in China.
Wow, you're really digging deep.
I know. Dunn's trying to dig his way to the outside.
Quentin Moon
makes
another
it
good
third.
pursuit.
Yeah. Dunn makes it 3rd and short. Well, how many dynasties in China can you think of?
I don't know. Ming is about the only one I can think of, too. We'll have the answer coming up, hopefully sooner than later, because I know everybody's waiting to see if we're right or wrong on that. Perkins, the man in motion.
Bison trying to pick up another first down. There's been a bunch of those today.
And I think they got it. Good surge again, up to the 42. As Lance Dunn.
How many is that, Brian? It's on your side. Give it a look.
For first downs, that is 27. Wow. 27 first downs.
Nodak Mutual Insurance replay. Dunn makes it just a little bit of an adjustment off to his left. Keeps his shoulders squared. Momentum forward. And there it is. Okay.
Here's the answer to our North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. Tofu became popular cooking ingredient during the what dynasty in China? Han Dynasty, around 206 BC. We will do our history before the next North Dakota Soybean Council trivia question. Davis will keep this time and will throw An airmail this one, looking, I think, for Dimitri Williams in the flat, incomplete.
Yeah, they had a wide receiver running a deeper out pattern, but that is not who Davis wanted to get it to. He knows that one sailed on him. Williams was open, and he just airmailed it.
Isaac Lashua, another backup tight end, will check in here for North Dakota State. Nate Jensen, another redshirt freshman, getting some reps here.
And Colin Connor is out there now on the offensive line, too. Redshirt freshman from Wisconsin.
Big kid, 6'5", 304. Bruce Anderson darting around the edge, and how about the speed from the freshman from Ruskin, Florida, inside the 20 down to the 15.
Well, Miles Spearman, the defensive back, will come in here and he will guess wrong on his pursuit angle. There he is, number 42, gets tripped up. Anderson's able to turn the corner and might have got it all the way there if he could have stayed on his feet, but got tripped up a little bit. Big gainer there.
And guess where NDSU is, LT?
They are in the Superior Inc. red zone.
Thought I'd give you an opportunity. Where the Bison getting it done in the red zone today. They are converting a lot of these red zone possessions into touchdowns, and they're doing it in a number of different ways.
Ooh, there's the ball on the turf.
I think Davis got it back. Boy, Quentin Moon was right there to pounce on it. Loss of 1.
Trying to think, the Bison have not missed inside. They've gotten points every time inside the red zone today, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Anderson running hard up the middle after a gain of 3. Veloz in on that tackle.
Darius is a kid that's played kind of a number of different positions, and last week Coach Polasek was saying that we have a group of plays for him, not that particular play because it's a basic power, but if we can get to him in the right place at the right time, there's about 8 to 10 plays specifically designed for Anderson to run, and he got to a couple of them last week. He got a run earlier today. Again, it was different than that basic one, but you know, he's a guy that in certain spots, in certain places, the Bison are hanging it on him.
Anderson will be short of a first down by 5 yards. The Bison might just leave the offense out there and go for it on 4th down. No need to really kick a field goal at this point.
No reason. More worried about the 40 seconds that you get back on the play clock, so run 35 or so of those off.
Beth Hool on the sidelines for us today has a PetroServe USA sideline report on a scoring update in the Valley.
Hey guys, that's right. South Dakota State getting the win over Illinois State. The Redbirds trying to tie it up late, but fall short, 25-20. Jackrabbits with the win.
Thank you, Beth, and that is a huge win for South Dakota State, certainly to solidify their playoff position.
It's big for South Dakota State. It could be big for North Dakota State. And here's Anderson picking up a first down. So on the 4th down play, Bison have a chance to finish this one in the end zone.
There's a look at Bruce Anderson, who's having a pretty good day. Now leading the team in rushing, 12 carries, 87 yards.
And again, because of the way the conference does the 2-year, you don't play one particular team. NDSU doesn't play Illinois State again this year, so that is the Redbirds' first conference loss, and NDSU has the 1.
Dunn bouncing outside, touchdown. Icing on the cake as Lance Dunn scores another touchdown today.
But you know who's real happy now is the starters. The guys that are watching the second team, if you will, go ahead and finish a particular drive because they know how hard that everyone works during practice prior to game days to help get them ready for game days. So the starters are real happy to see that drive end up in the end zone.
Peterson getting plenty of reps on the extra point today as the Bison have now racked up 59 points and lead it big over Western Illinois with 3:10 to go. .310 to go here in the football game, and North Dakota State will move to 7-2. On the season, we'll hit the road to Youngstown State next week. LT and I will be there with our NBC North Dakota production crew to bring you that big matchup. And Youngstown State, a big win over Missouri State, 47-7 today, and the Penguins still playing for something. Despite the 4 losses, still hoping with a couple of wins at the end of the year, they could sneak into the playoff field. And North Dakota State in 3:10 will be tied for the conference lead.
Want me to jump on my soapbox about not playing Illinois State again this year, or should I just leave it alone? Your silence is my answer. I shall leave it alone.
It all seemed to work out last year when the Bison ended up playing them in Frisco, which was maybe fitting. And Northern Iowa certainly looking impressive as well, as they've been able to rattle off some wins. Got the big road win at South Dakota State. And they lead 38-0 over Indiana State at half.
That was the other conference game that I think was real interesting, because whoever didn't win is gone.
Got to look there at Bryce Mesner, and Mesner, another young man from North Dakota, McVille, played at Dakota Prairie High School.
McVille, yeah. Ooh, there's a good stick right there too. Is that Farnloff?
That's Austin Farnloff, who has been really beset by injuries. Was in a sling last year for majority of the season. Well, you never know where you're going to run into guys, and I just happened to run into Shields Hardware, and there's Farnloff in his tie. She's selling me screws, and I needed to fix my deck.
You get the right ones?
Yeah, he helped me with that.
Right,
He
Mr.
got me the right
Farnloff?
stuff, so he knows his stuff over there. Norvell across the middle. That pass is caught. Dan Marlette right there to make the tackle after a minimal gain. Pass caught by Javon Williams, his first catch of the day.
I mean, coming into today, the last 2 road games, NDSU racked up, what was it, 904 total offensive yards. Now you tack over 500 more on top of that. That's impressive.
Starting to find a groove, and defensively only 33 rushing yards given up, 205 total. Be sure to tune in to the Bison Football Show with Chris Kleiman tomorrow at 10:30. Jalen Allison on the coverage of Lenore there as that ball was slung out of bounds. On 4th down, and the Bison will take over with 1:17 to go, and I think a couple of kneel downs here, and that'll do it.
And Marlette actually was in real good position on the guy in the flat too. I think that caused the pass to go up a little bit too, to sail a little high. There's a look at what is on the west wall here at the Fargo Dome. That 33 rushing yards. Well, I thought Western was able to do better than that. I'm not surprised with what we've seen the last couple of weeks.
I have to say, I'm a little surprised to see 327. That's a large number of rushing yards. Maybe 200, 250, okay, but 327, that's a lot of yards in the ground.
I guess after the way the first quarter went, I'm not surprised it got over 300.
Anderson does get the call, will gain a yard up to the 29.
Because the Bison in the first quarter had over a 100-yard advantage already in total offense and had 17 points up on the board. So the Bison established its physical superiority early in this game.
Easton Stick has to be proud of his quarterback group. Certainly Easton got it done today, and Carson providing the guidance. It's number 17, one of the redshirt quarterbacks, has moved up to the 2nd spot, and that's James Hendricks, a freshman from Bemidji High School.
Yeah, he's been traveling as the emergency guy.
Last play of the football game likely coming up here. And that's Anderson plowing ahead for a couple of more. Tackle made. And that is it. North Dakota State flat out hands it to Western Illinois today at the Fargo Dome. 59-7 the final. Bison moved to 7-2, 5-1 in the Valley, and has a showdown with the Penguins of Youngstown State coming up next Saturday at Stambaugh Stadium. Looking forward to having that one for you. Beth Hool will catch up here with head coach Chris Kleiman, get his thoughts on the victory.
Yeah, it was certainly a no-question day. No question about it that NDSU was the more physical team, and it happened early and it happened often.
Some of the Bison fans that hung around celebrating with the team. And Western Illinois, their playoff hopes have now gone down the tubes with their 5th loss. But still a step in the right direction for Bob Nielsen and his program. They'll try to finish up strong in the next 2 games. PetroServe USA Sideline Report. Beth Hool has Chris Kleiman.
All right, Coach Kleiman, a pretty dominating win there. How good does this one feel?
Well, really good. Our guys were prepared. We were excited to play in the Fargo Dome again. Our guys, our seniors, our leaders challenged the guys all week that this is a pretty special place, and our guys played pretty close to a perfect game.
Thanks so much for your time, Coach. Congratulations, guys.
Beth, thank you. Well, they're 20-0 now in the gold jerseys. They're 1-0 in the green helmets. And I know LT loves those kind of stats.
Sure. Wear them next week and you won't have to practice, right? No, 59. It's the guys inside those jerseys and inside those helmets.
59-7 the final. We'll be back coming up after this.
Tyson has big Evander Holyfield. Tyson has big Evander Holyfield. This is unbelievable.
It didn't hit of the game, but 40 less plays the defense had to play today. That's outstanding.
American Family Insurance, Jerry Benefeld Agency. And now we take a look at our stats report brought to you by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers.
Ooh,
and the
look at
number
that
that
bottom.
stands out
Yep.
to me, 43-47 in time of possession. NDSU ran 82 plays, Western Illinois 47.
Wow, that is crazy with over the 500 yards. The 332 is what the final rushing plays end up. So the Bison now have over 1,200 yards rushing. No, over 1,200 yards rushing the last 3 games, or total yards, I should say, in the last 3 games. So the Bison just continue to get it done, and led by the offensive line. We hope that Zach Johnson is okay, but yeah, that's a stat page that is an offensive coordinator's or an offensive player's dream to see that.
44 minutes in time of possession. Wow, was that impressive. We'll be back with our Nodag Mutual Insurance player of the game coming up after this. You're watching NBC North Dakota Sports. Yards and 4 touchdown passes today.
Yeah, the 4 touchdown passes were impressive. He was able to get the ball down the field and on target. Of course, Bra made that one super catch on the first touchdown pass that people will be talking about for a long time. But not only the 86 rushing yards, Brian, I think it's the fact that he was 9.6 yards per carry, so almost 10 yards every time he decided to pull the ball down and head upfield.
So Easton Stick getting it done now, 3-0 as a starter. Is your Nodag Mutual Insurance player of the game. NDSU now will go on the road for their final regular season road game at Youngstown State. And the Penguins, big winners over Missouri State today in Bo Pelini's first year at 5-4, still playing for a possible playoff spot.
Yeah, the thing is I think if NDSU can stay as physical as it was and has been not only today but the previous 2 road games, that's the one main thing the Bison have that no one else in the conference, including South Dakota State, who has some physical play. But that offense can just grind you down, wear you down. We saw it again here today. If the Bison play clean and play that physical, that is certainly to their huge advantage, and it will be tough for Youngstown to beat that, I think.
And Youngstown State, again, they got the big win today. They're still trying to, I think, muddle their way through a few things, but we've seen they have playmakers over there.
They certainly do. I mean, it's a game kind of going into Southern a little bit, where it's you're on the road and it's a bit of a scare game for, I think, the NDSU coaches and the NDSU coaching staff, because they know that there are playmakers there that you have to deal with.
Final thought with NDSU. Coaches want to get their teams playing their best football at the end of the season. It certainly appears North Dakota State is on the upward trajectory that way. And it seems like right now they're clicking on all cylinders. What adjustments or improvements do you continue to make?
Just say more of the same, boys. Nice job. But yeah, November's been the Bison year. We know this, the month of the year. We know this through the run of championships. I think NDSU has only lost twice in the month of November, the last handful of years. So at the end of the season, when you want to own it, they certainly have owned it, and they own this game from the get-go today.
North Dakota State, dominating performance. 59-7 is your final from the Fargo Dome. LT and I will be back with you next week along with Beth Hool and our NBC North Dakota production crew from Youngstown, Ohio at Stambaugh Stadium when NDSU will take on the Penguins, trying to keep this winning streak rolling. For Lee Timmerman and Beth Hool, our entire NBC North Dakota production crew, I'm Brian Shawn saying so long from the Fargo Dome. North Dakota State handily over Western Illinois. 59-7 your final. See you next Saturday, everybody.